Damn, we're live. Yeah, hear you great.
Tight. What's up, dude? How's
What?
Tahoe?
I'm sitting here in the dark. I kind of like this. 'Cause, I'm sitting by these windows and the sun's just starting to come up. So, like, as we go through the podcast, my lighting will change.
Nice.
I'll become either uglier or more beautiful, but I
I
will not
live
be the same.
I live in third world North Carolina, so my lighting is I got this shitty room lamp plugged in behind me.
Why are you saying that? Because you don't want anyone moving there? You know, it's the greatest place in the United States right now, and you don't want anyone moving there?
It's pretty good. It's pretty
Dude,
good.
I'm in. Go ahead, hate me, people. I don't care. I mean, I don't want you to hate me, but here we go anyway. I'm in Lake Tahoe. It's like it's got to be one of the most beautiful places on planet Earth. It is absolutely nuts, and there's there's so much forest. There's so much lake. It's just I think it might be the deepest and largest freshwater lake in the United States. Anyway, if you dump it out, it covers California with like 12 inches of water or something. That was some stat I heard as a little boy that I really liked. And you go into it, it's you go into a Safeway here, and every like you're with 600 people who have their faces covered with masks
Wow.
on. I'm like, dude, we're in the mountains. Chill, everyone, chill. And we all got it already. Everyone I know got it.
Dude, yeah.
All 10,000 people I know got the Omnicron. It's chill. If we all have it, we can all take off our masks. So weird.
That's funny. I actually went to Lake Tahoe when I was a really, really young kid. Yeah,
I just don't see a North Carolina boy like you showing. What were you doing here?
we were skiing.
Oh,
Yeah.
balling. I have a little trouble breathing here, believe it or not. The elevate, I think we're at 6,000 feet, and I feel it.
I didn't remember that as a kid. I just remember being like forced into ski school. Did you ski growing up?
I did a lot.
Did your parents ever put you in ski school?
No,
Oh, dude.
just I have like my parents are like Armenian immigrants. You know what I mean? Here's your skis. Here's your ski pass. Go. Yeah. They can't even believe they're probably so proud that they were able to. They were raised in homes that didn't have indoor bathrooms, and now they're taking their kids skiing. You know what I mean? They're like, that's
Yeah,
enough.
that's funny. I fucking hated ski school.
Really?
Dude, it was the worst. Well, I just wanted to go with my parents. I wanted to ski with my parents, and they would stick me in the ski school, and you're stuck with all the little fucking kids, and they don't let you do shit other than go on the bunny slope.
I don't know a lot about skiing, but I used to ski a lot, and skiing's a trip as a kid because as 7-year-old, you can take him skiing for me and my family, and I wasn't athletic at all. You could take me skiing within 2 ski trips. I could ski every Black Diamond slope at Squaw Valley. I mean, not good, but like I was fearless. Like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah,
Just snow plow off a cliff, just
that's
like
exactly,
you don't
dude.
give a
Yeah,
shit.
that's exactly what happened to me. They would stick me in ski school, and I would freak out. Like I lashed out so much as a little kid. I was such a little, scream until I get what I wanted. And so my dad was like, "Fuck it, then you're just gonna come ski with me." And so we would take me to the Black Diamond, and I would sit in between my skis and ride down the Black Diamond on my ass with my skis on like either side. But
Do you
skiing.
do you think it's okay to prejudice? I said something about a child the other day, um, who had red hair. I was talking about him, not saying nice things, and someone goes, "Hey, dude, that's the way all redheads are." And it was another redhead. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Redheaded kids are just gnarly." And I was
I
like,
don't know.
"Oh,
I'm,
that's. I mean, that's pretty racist." But I was okay with it. I mean, I wasn't judging the person. I was like, "All right, let me hear your thoughts."
I don't know. I mean, I was gnarly, so I guess, but but my sister wasn't. So I don't. My sister's a redhead too. She wasn't really gnarly at all.
Yeah,
So I don't
maybe
know.
I had a girlfriend in high school who had red hair, and she was like the nicest person I know. And now my wife has red hair, and she's taken that mantle as the nicest person I know.
My
And
girlfriend
you,
has red hair. Same
but
thing.
you're also pretty nice, and you have red hair, but you come from a you were a thorny branch as a
Exactly.
child.
Thorny branch would probably be a little bit of an understatement.
This has nothing to do with the interview. A bunch of people this morning sent me an article that was in the morning chalk up about Noble and about the athletes not making money off the shirts. And it's this kind of stuff that really needs contextualizing. It's really an unfair article. It's really horrible. I want to say this with all sincerity to all the athletes and everyone in the ecosystem. Do not try to get other people's shit. If you contextualize everything, this is not a career, not for a single one of you. This is an opportunity. Colton Mertens, the opportunity is to build the Colton Mertens brand and to maybe change some other people's lives. There was the Rob Orlando before him. There was the Dan Baileys. These are people who never won the games. This is Josh Bridges. This is, Katie Henniger did win the games. Miranda Alcaraz did not win the games. I don't even know if she ever made it as an individual. This is an opportunity. The guy who invented the RX bar. This is not a career. If you just to put one thing in context really quick, a couple things. If I told you there's 1 million people in jail in the United States, you have to immediately go, okay, there's 300 million people who live here. So that means 1 in every 300 people is in jail. And then you have to go outside and you have to be like, okay, my freshman class, when you go to high school that day is 300 people. 1 of us is going to jail. If you do not think like that, you have no fucking clue what's going on. So to mention that the athletes should be getting money from Noble for shirts to be sold is fucking nuts without contextualizing it. So let me give you an example. If they make $10 profit off of every shirt, and they spent $5 million to get into the space, insurance for their employees, money they have to pay for CrossFit to be the official fucking clothing line, all that. That means they have to sell 500,000 shirts just to break even. That's 50,000 shirts or 50 shirts per affiliate. Only 30,000 people at most show up to the games. And now you, as an athlete or anyone, instead of befriending these people and working synergistically with them, you are participating in complaining that they're not giving you money by another parasitic organization. Do you know why the Morning Chalk Up doesn't give people money for their videos when they interview people like Taylor Self? Because, and I hate to say this, because those fucking guys over there are working their ass off and not making shit. You know what Justin LaFranco's exit plan is already with Morning Chalk Up. That thing's never going to make a dime. He just wants to sell it and move on to the next thing. I'm not going to share a fucking dime with Taylor from the $100 I make from this podcast because I'm going to use that to spend on my kids. But nothing is more valuable to me than the 1 hour or 2 hours I'm going to spend with Taylor now that I would rather be spending with my kids. I'm contextualizing it for you guys. Stop complaining. Do zero complaining in regards to like getting a piece of the pie. Do you make yourself like you don't have to win the games to add crazy value to this ecosystem and be someone special in it. And sure as hell, don't be trying to peel money off of Noble. Those guys are taking an enormous fucking risk by getting in this space. Everyone is.
What do you think about Monster sponsoring those guys?
I'm stoked.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fucking get your money.
Yeah, a ton of it.
Don't let them tell you. Don't let them tell you. Here's the thing. Me personally, the reason why I'm the happiest man that anyone's ever met is because I can say whatever I want. There's a freedom there that's like, and I get it. Other people, like so many other people can't. They don't even realize they can't. And maybe if Monster sponsored me, I would start to feel the pressure too. But it's like, when they and that's another reason it's a huge mistake getting rid of Dave. Dave's the only person at HQ who could have massaged that so it was okay. And he posted it on his Instagram. He said, hey, we're not doing the sugar drinks, and Monster's moving to just non-sugar drinks. And although I don't buy that shit, I appreciate it that Dave faced it head on. And if these athletes are still allowed to say, hey, I don't drink Monster, but I really appreciate their sponsorship, then I'm all for it. Fucking let Marlboro sponsor you. As long as they're not going to censor your mouth. And that's the problem. 99% of the people in the space are bought. From Morning Chalk Up to Craig Ritchie to some people who are like my close friends, like they're peddling you shit and they can't tell you the truth of how they feel. I get it that like they're looking for that balance, right? I mean, you know what? Who was that soccer player who took the Coke down and said agua?
Was that Cristiano Ronaldo?
Yeah, he can do. That's how rich he is.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But if you did that, you're toast.
Man, is it naive to hope or to want or even think to believe that it would be possible to make some sort of amount of money in the space without being pressured or forced into just following the narrative that everyone else follows?
Dude, look at Danielle Brandon.
Yeah.
Danielle,
Wow.
don't hate me for this at all. She fucking comes on my podcast, says she don't trust anyone. She talks about how she's not taking the fucking vaccine. Bam, right on her fucking Instagram. She gets in the fuck and dude, we are not created equal. I'm not saying this is everyone can do this.
Yeah.
This fucking chick has her own being. Don't try to follow her shit. She gets in the fucking stadium in Madison at this wholesome CrossFit event and fucking double birds these motherfuckers, the whole stadium for no reason.
Wholesome.
This fucking chick competes with the fucking COVID.
Yeah, that's funny.
And you know what? And everyone wants, from fucking the grandmas to the fucking little boys, everyone just wants to cuddle with her.
Yeah.
And she's I mean, she's everything. She's a fucking hot thunder thighs, fucking pole vaulting, fucking just badass. Just and so yeah, I think you can do it. I think that's actually where the most success is. To not be like,
Authenticity.
hello, here's my protein. I mean, it's where the happiness is. Here's my protein powder. I'm a good dude. Here, let me sign your kids back. If that's who you are, like that's more. I do believe that like that's Noah Olson. I believe Noah Olson is a fucking amazing. I believe he's living his authentic self.
Yeah.
But if that's not me, and so like, but that's who people want. That's how everyone wants someone with clean feet. I don't have clean feet. I walk around barefoot. I don't mind crumbs in the bed. Do you ever have sand or crumbs in your bed?
Dude, I fucking hate that. If
Yeah,
that happens,
I'm okay with
to
it.
my bed, I have to take the covers off and wipe it off, dude. No way.
Where were you born, Taylor?
I was born in Fairfax, Virginia. So it's right outside of DC. It's Northern Virginia. Pretty super
Super what?
wealthy. It's a very wealthy area.
It is?
Yeah.
Is that where all the do the politicians go there? Is that where they live since DC is a shithole?
Yeah, I think a lot of politicians live there. It's also like a lot of bullets are there. Like we're probably like a 10-minute walk from the house I grew up in. There's Saudi Arabia just built this consulate like right down the street. It's fucking insane. It's huge.
And is that like acres?
It's like acres, and it's in an area where like there shouldn't be acres available to like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So you're in like the shopping center, and there's all this like Middle Eastern oil money, these crazy fucking cars, and it wasn't like that when I was really young, but it's like that now. My parents moved there from the middle of nowhere, South Carolina. That's where they were born and from.
Not all of DC is a shithole. Look at California. See, that's not necessary. I apologize for DC being all a shithole, but you don't need to tell me to look at it. I'm looking out the window at Lake Tahoe. I'm in California, most beautiful place in the world. California is a shithole. Man, it's been ruined.
Dude,
so were you born with money?
My parents are pretty middle class. They weren't born with money. They were both like super poor growing up. Both of them got scholarships to schools in Virginia, and that's kind of what precipitated the move there and why I grew up there.
Are they athletes, your parents?
My dad played football in college. My mom did not. She got an academic scholarship to UVA.
Are they still married?
My dad died when I was younger. So
no shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I wish I wouldn't have asked that.
Oh my God.
Hey,
that's funny.
Thank you. One of my best one of my most sincere moments. So your mom raised you?
No, they both. My dad was like an alcoholic, so I grew up. He died when I was 16. So I was.
Oh shit! That's not young.
Well, when I was younger, I think is the word I said specifically.
Okay. Okay. Well, then that joke really wasn't funny. I was picturing like my wife's dad died when she was 1. So you can make all sorts of jokes because they don't hit a nerve.
You can make as many dead dad jokes as you want.
Okay. All right.
I'm thick-skinned in that. But yeah, so I was raised by both of them. But probably being, growing up in an alcoholic family probably shaped a lot of the way I grew up, a lot of the character defects I grew up with, I would say.
Do you think your dad knew he was an alcoholic?
Oh, for sure. Well, he got sober 3 years before he died.
Oh shit.
And then I come from a long line of that. Like my great grandfather actually when I actually just learned this maybe a few years ago. But I knew he died in the hospital, my great grandfather. But he actually like they put him in a sanitarium to like detox off alcohol, like back before they knew like what delirium tremens and shit did to you. And so you put him in a straitjacket, or that was a common practice, and he fucking died from delirium tremens.
Serious?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
See, I always thought that was bullshit. He died
No.
from alcohol withdrawals?
Oh yeah, he fucking for sure died. You can only die from detoxing from two things: alcohol and benzodiazepines,
What's benzo?
like Xanax
Oh.
or Klonopin, Ativan, shit like that. Like
So,
you're not gonna die from withdrawing from heroin or any opiate or crack.
did you ever do nicotine?
Yes,
What kind of nicotine did you do? Did you do a chew or smoke or
both. I smoked. I started smoking in elementary school, so I
no
smoked.
shit?
Yeah, I was like a sixth grader. So I would steal it from my dad. He would buy like fucking 3 cartons and stick it in his computer desk, and it was
And
just
you would
so.
tax it a pack. You would tax him a
Oh,
pack.
yeah, dude. Exactly. Tax him back. These fucking Marlboro lights I was smoking in my attic. So those, and then I switched to dip at some point, and did that through a lot of my sobriety before I started CrossFit.
I want to come back to dip. Some things don't matter relative, people. Don't be confused. Like if you're 7 feet tall and you have a 7-inch penis, or you're 4'5" and you have a 7-inch penis, it's still just a great 7-inch penis. That's not where relativity matters. Do you understand? Like you have to think for yourself. Like relativity, it does matter if you open a box in downtown Manhattan. You fucking complainers who rip on affiliates who charge $200 a month. You don't even think for a second that the rent there is $25,000 a month, $50,000 a month, and that your box owner can't even fucking make $100,000 a year, where the poverty line in Manhattan is $200,000 or less, and you're complaining. I want to put you in a rocket ship and just send you to Pluto. You're the misery of this planet, and you just leave other people alone. Get yours. Be a good person. Get okay. Nicotine is a
It's the
when
hardest thing to quit, I think.
yeah, I chewed for 6 months, and quitting was a trip. I got the crazy tremors.
Really?
Like I was shaking and twitching, and I was a mess. My vision was all blurry, and I smoked cigarettes for a long time.
I did. Yeah, smoking. Well, I didn't actually quit. Well, I switched to dip, so I didn't like quit nicotine when I quit smoking. But when I quit dip, I didn't. I quit cold turkey 2 times. Neither time did I experience like that initial withdrawal, and I dipped a lot, but it was
Really? You didn't get like blurry vision and like twitching in bed at night and fucking crazy dreams and
no. I experienced a lot of like agitation though. Like I was just extremely fucking on edge. But the
yeah,
hardest
because
part.
it's a coping mechanism, right? You
Oh
you
yeah,
always put a chew in, like you're like someone cut you off, put a chew in. Oh, you're waiting somewhere, put a chew in. I mean, it's just like it's just becomes your
yeah,
coping mechanism
yeah,
for
for everything.
everything.
Yeah, and then really, I feel like the hardest part is down the road, like 6 months, a year, 2 years later, you just get like this random craving. Initially, I was like, man, I was so in it. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I can't dip. And then 6 months later, like, damn, it would feel really good. That's the only thing I still have like a strong desire to do every now and then is dip. Weird.
Nicotine's one of the greatest drugs on the planet, and I really love it. But the thing you need to know, anyone who hasn't done it, you have to know this, that maybe this is what people mean by selling your soul. But once you do nicotine, you'll end up, and Taylor just described it perfectly. The most valuable thing you have is your headspace, thoughts. And so once you do nicotine, then it can get caught in there for a long time. And for the next 5 years, once a week, you'll think about it. And it's like, no one tells you that like, they're like, it's bad for you. It's this, it's that. But the truth is that it gets stuck in your head.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you go through puberty and girls get stuck in your head. It's like you need it, you don't want to ever give up real estate in your head. So that's why you shouldn't ever do nicotine. But man, it's awesome, right? For
That's a good way of putting
focusing
it, but
and-
it's also it will fucking kill you.
yeah. I
Cancer.
forgot about that.
But the headspace thing, that's an interesting take I've never thought of. But yeah, I'll be in the car and I'll just be like, damn, it would be really nice to have a dip in. Like on a road trip or something.
So you're born in Fairfax, and do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have an older sister. So I grew up kind of through this lens, at least the way I viewed it as a kid was like I felt like I never got the love and affection from my dad that I wanted. I think probably in part because he was an alcoholic, mainly in part because he was an alcoholic. And I had this warped perception that he had given it all to my sister, or that my sister got all the attention or, all the love, and I didn't get any of that. Um, which in reality is probably just not true. But she's a very high achieving person. It was easy to kind of create this story and narrative jealousy towards her.
How much older is she?
6 years older,
Um,
5 years older.
Oh, so she's significantly older.
Hmm.
Like you didn't play with her.
No, she beat the shit out of me. I would fucking annoy her.
Yeah.
I would fucking crush her. One time she was like playing this recorder. This is a good story in our living room. You know that shitty like elementary school instrument, the
Yes,
plastic
yes,
recorder.
yes,
So she's in
yes.
the living
I
room.
bought those for my kids and they end up being weapons.
Yeah. So yeah, it was in my sister. She was in the living room, like just blowing on that thing, like one stupid note, like, not even playing it, just being fucking annoying. So I ran in there and I high kicked it, and it chipped her tooth, and she's like crying and freaking out, and she's probably like 11, and I'm like 5,
And you
and
lost your virginity via recorder.
no, dude. Well, I mean, she didn't use a recorder, but she ran in the. I was like in the kitchen hiding. She ran in there and just hit me one time and knocked me out. Just
Wow.
yeah, knocked me the fuck out.
Is that the first time you were ever knocked out?
Yeah, and I haven't been knocked out a lot of times, but a few times. That was the first time for sure.
I got jumped in high school.
Me too.
And got knocked out. I think that I want to say the dude, it was a gang of dudes, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, it was a gang of dudes, but I'm pretty sure it was just one giant dude, and he just punched me in the face. I thought there were dudes fighting. I was walking down a sidewalk, and it was late at night, and I just, "You want to fight, motherfucker?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna get to watch a fight." And I turn around, and some dude just punched me in the face, and I woke up.
Jesus,
I woke up in the bushes, spitting out teeth.
that's fucked up. I've never been knocked out from a punch other than that time, but I've been like choked out.
Like playing around with friends.
Yeah, but also like not playing around, just got choked out.
Really?
Yeah, I had a brutal locker room when I grew in high school.
For what? What sport?
Baseball, believe it or not. I wrestled too, and I never got choked out wrestling or in a wrestling locker room. But in the baseball locker room, there's just this one dude who was a fucking savage bully. Just choked me out one time.
Why did you do sports? Did your dad encourage that?
Yeah, it felt like mandatory, especially baseball. So I started baseball when I was like 4. Um, and then I played football a couple years. I wrestled, played basketball, but baseball was the one I played my whole life.
So like
Um,
your parents like put you in the station wagon at 4 years old, drove you to T-ball. Your dad sits out there, he's drinking in like a paper cup, watching you play.
Deer Park water bottle, yeah, vodka. I was walking to the dugout one time, and this other coach is like sitting on like the tailgate of his truck, like putting his like cleats on, and he's like, my dad's middle name was Middleton, so they called him Mid, and so he was like, "What's we got in the bottle, Mid vodka?" And I was like 10, so I had no idea what that was, but I remember that vividly.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was this other guy just making a joke at him. That's kind of how bad of an alcoholic he was. Just everyone knew.
And what was his day job?
He worked as he ran the night vision lab at Fort Belvoir Army Base.
Night vision lab, meaning like
Where
binoculars
they,
and shit that could see bad guys in the dark.
yeah, where they develop like weapon systems and all that shit. So he was extremely smart. Probably one of the smartest people I've ever been around.
Was he nice to you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was. I mean, there were bouts of
Did he whoop you?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. There were. I mean, it was probably not that you know unique of a situation. He was a pretty normal, I would say, dad in terms of you know your punishments, your treatment, just kind of with the added alcoholism and stuff.
Um, did your parents get divorced before he passed away?
No, they got separated though. I think I was probably 13, and I remember my mom saying like sitting us down and having like a talk with us that like if
You and your sister?
yeah that if dad came home drunk again that she was gonna kick him out. And she just couldn't do it anymore. He comes home fucking hammered one night, and like I remember this clearly because my mom was crying and my dad was like fucked up, laying on the couch crying because he knew that, like, damn, like, I'm getting kicked out now. And I hated my mom for it because at that age, like at the younger age, I was I loved my dad. All I wanted was his attention and his like approval and all that. So I remember I fucking hated my mom so much for kicking him out. And I remember going with him to help him move into
What a
his, like,
trip, right? What a
yeah.
fucking trip.
Oh yeah, I hated her guts like more than anything in the world. And I remember going with him with my best friend at the time, Caleb, um, to move him into this like basement that he had found on Craigslist. Dude, it was such a shithole. It was in Prince William County. Disgusting. In the parking lot, there's like I remember carrying this dresser with my buddy Caleb into this basement and like walking through the parking lot of this apartment complex or this townhouse complex of this basement he's moving into. And there's this fucking used condom in the parking space. And we're like 13-year-old boys. The first time I'd ever seen something like that. It was just disgusting.
Every time I see a condom, I spin a narrative around it. I wonder how that got there. And then I look, is it loaded? Is it empty?
Is it empty?
What are these kids playing with making water balloons, or is this a real one? Look, someone gave me $10 because you're a good dude.
Wad Zombie. He sent me some stickers. He's the man.
Look at this dude, Eric. Why sent me $10 because you're a good dude. Man, I love hanging out with good dudes. You're making it rain money in my hood. Did you ever say sorry to your mom for that?
Oh yeah, we have
like. Are you like, holy shit? Thank you for kicking the fucking drunk out, and I had it all ass backwards. I was 13.
Yeah, for sure. I've said that exactly to her. We have an amazing relationship today, but it was not that way for the longest time. I mean, we had the worst. I hated her so much
for that,
and then just for being the voice of reason I never wanted to hear, or like the person trying to discipline me. After my dad died, it was fucking her. I mean, God, could you imagine that? Having a fucking.
Did you blame her for that?
No, I blamed myself a lot for that. I mean, yeah, I blame myself a lot for that. It's crazy.
How did he pass?
He died of cancer. Alcoholism, kind of.
What kind of cancer?
Lung cancer. He had lung cancer, and then it moved to his liver. Noted he was a smoker and a drinker, so.
But he had quit drinking for 3 years.
He had quit drinking for 3 years, but when you drink fucking probably a half gallon of vodka a day, it doesn't really. You're 40 or 50. You're 45 or 50. You're fucking done.
And then did he smoke the whole time, like from when you were a little kid to when he died? He smoked the whole time.
Yeah, he died with a cigarette.
No shit. And how old was he?
This was 2011. He was born 50 on the dot.
Oh God, that's next year for me.
You don't smoke though. You're good, man.
No.
You do CrossFit.
Yeah, I drink a shitload of coffee though. Hey, how long was he dying for?
Man, it was maybe 2 years he had been diagnosed. So, and that was kind of like also in the heart of when I was getting fucked up a lot. Like I had found some drugs and alcohol, and I was pretty oblivious to like kind of the change or the events leading up to it. But it did feel like it was pretty sudden. I remember actually that morning I woke up, my mom was out of town, and I was 16. I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling school today. So I go downstairs. I'm like, hey dad, I'm feeling sick, so I'm just gonna stay home. And he's like, all right.
Oh, he had moved back into the house.
Yeah, so my mom kicked him out, then he got sober, and then he moved back in, and their relationship got markedly better.
What a raw fucking deal. He quits fucking drinking, but he still gets sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he made the most of his last 3 years, I think.
So you go downstairs, your mom's gone, you tell your dad you're not feeling school.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to school. And he's like, all right. So I go back upstairs, I get some weed, I wake and bake, get high as shit.
With a bong or a pipe or papers?
A Gatorade bottle.
Ah, wow. So you breathe in some plastic too. Good on
you. For sure, the BPA.
Yes. Yeah.
It gets you higher.
Melting plastic. Do you ever this is my only regret in life is probably smoking. And the reason why is I wonder how much fucking gnarlier I'd be if my lungs had no damage.
Really? What do you mean
Do you-
gnarlier?
I mean, do you remember just sitting around with friends and being like, okay, I'm going to pack a gram. Let's see if I can take the whole thing down in one bong rip. And then you don't. So then it's the other guy's turn. So then you get another turn. And it's like that for 365 days a year for 5 years. And then you look back in hindsight and you're like, holy shit, I only breathed smoke for 5 years of my life through Gatorade bottles melting and fucking apples. And do you ever wonder, like, holy shit, what damage did I do to that fucking those lungs?
I don't actually. I've never actually had that
Okay.
thought. I have a
Don't
pretty
let
good.
that get in your head then. Never mind.
It
Scratch
won't. I
that
have a
thought.
great engine. I destroy people in cardio, so I'm not worried about that.
You do. How about that win at Wadapalooza? Was that dope?
Yeah, that felt. I mean, it felt good. It felt good, but it feels better to like do well in events that you work really hard on.
Would
Weaknesses.
you trade that for 5 minutes of love from your dad? Sevon, unacceptable. Okay.
No, that's a good question. That's a great question.
It's a fucking asshole question.
Holy shit. I don't know. I would have to do some thinking on that.
6
5
minutes.
minutes? That's not a lot of time. Yeah.
Oh. Did you like cold hands? Did you like when you were a kid if your mom put cold hands on you?
Did I like that?
Yeah.
No.
My mom would put cold hands on me as a kid. Like if her hands were cold, she'd put it up my shirt or on my forehead, and I fucking loved it. And I have 3 boys, and one of my kids loves it, and the other 2 don't. So I gravitate to the one that likes it because I just loved that feeling. My mom putting a cold hand on me. It just made me feel so alive.
That's funny.
Okay. So you're 16, your mom's out of town, and you go to and you wake and bake, and now your dad.
Like 10
And was your
minutes
dad
later,
sick at that? Like really sick? Like did he have like a shit in his nose?
No.
Okay.
He never did. He never did any of that. He lost so much weight, which I didn't realize until after the fact. Like you look at pictures now and it's fucking crazy. Crazy how much weight he lost. But I didn't notice any of that. So I wake and bake. 10 minutes later, he comes back up. He's like, hey, dude, you should probably go to school today. And typically I would be like, fuck that. And there'd be this huge argument. I'd fucking just walk out, go to my friend's house, whatever. But for whatever reason, I was like, all right. So I like get dressed. The bus hadn't come yet. So I get on the bus, go to school. And I remember I'm sitting in class, the math class, with the same teacher I had like 2 years ago for a different math. I was a junior and I was in Algebra 1, Part 1, which just meant you were fucking retarded, basically. Like you had Algebra 1 in one period and then Algebra 1, Part 1 in another period.
So were there like freshmen in your like 8th graders from the junior high in your class with you taking that shit?
No.
Oh.
No, there was just a bunch of other stupid kids. I wasn't stupid. I just hated school. I didn't put any effort into it. But anyway, so I'm sitting in this class, and this administrator, it's like 3rd period maybe, so it's like 11 in the morning. And this administrator comes in. He's like, "Hey Taylor, I need you to come with me to the office." So I'm thinking, "Fuck!" I think I actually like fucking slam my agenda closed. I'm like, "Fuck!"
Like
What
they
if
found a bottle in your locker or something?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
alcohol or something.
like I'm in trouble. I did something. I called somebody something fucked up, and they told on me or whatever. So I remember walking down the hallway. I remember this so vividly. This administrator, his name's Dan Ebeling's, walking in front of me. He's like, it was such a weird walk because he's like 10 feet ahead of me. He won't look back, and I keep asking the entire walk down the hallway, "Can you just tell me what I did?" I'm trying to like craft this, excuse story or the lie that I need to tell to like get out of trouble.
Hey, that dude doesn't forget this day either.
There's no way. Yeah.
He remembers this day the rest of his life too.
For sure, I would imagine. I mean, it's probably not very common. You have to do that in his job. Anyway, so I'm walking behind him. I'm like, "Can you just tell me what I did?" And I must have asked him that like 10 times on this walk to the principal's office. And it's fucked up. He opens the fucking door to the main office, and my grandmother, who was in town with my dad's mom, is just standing there crying, saying he's gone. And I just fucking lose it. And I remember hugging her and crying my eyes out. And, as I'm like really beginning to cry really, really hard, like fucked up crying, the bell rings and like class lets out and all these kids are walking by and the door's still open to the main office. And I feel like everyone's staring at me, crying my eyes out. And I'm like, man, I just I can't even articulate like what's going through my head. Part of it's like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Part of it's like fear of what everyone's gonna think walking past me, seeing this kid crying his eyes out in the office. So we go home, and like when I get home, my dad's still fucking dead body on the side porch of our house, and the ambulance is like come like taking him away, and
You
they're like,
saw him? You saw him?
yeah, on the stretcher, covered. Um, and then on the side porch, there's like this huge fucking pile of green mucus, I guess from his lungs or whatever. I don't know. Um, and like cleaning that up, just yeah, it was fucked up. And I just from then on, like that gave me like a great excuse to, just
Oh,
become as much of a fuck up as I wanted to. You know what I mean? I dropped. I like didn't go back to school for a couple weeks. I tried to go back one day, and I went back so fucked up. Like I was
like
drunk.
drunk?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, drunk, high, and like I like bumped into this kid in the hallway. Um, and I definitely probably called him some fucking slur or whatever, and he just beats the shit out of me. Like beats the fucking shit out of me.
And you
I
don't
remember.
even care?
I mean, I like tried to fight back, but dude, my face looked like hamburger meat. Like he fucked me up. And so after that happened, I was like, there's no way I'm going back to school to face anybody who would, witness that. So I like fully drop out, and then boom, just
Did you have friends? Did you have a crew? By the way, that I don't feel uncomfortable very often. Like really never. That story with your dad's gnarly. It's gnarly that you saw him in the morning.
yeah,
Like, did you have any inkling that like he was gonna pass away that day?
no, he looked fucking normal. At least normal in the way I had thought he was normal.
Yeah, the way you tell the stories, I picture him. He had to walk up a flight of stairs. Like my feeling is like the day you die, you can't walk up a flight of stairs.
No, he seemed completely normal to me.
Any chance he may have killed himself?
Wow, I've never thought of that. I don't see how, you
Right.
know, I don't see how he would have. I don't think he wasn't. I don't think
Hey,
he
but
was.
after this podcast, you can just hey mom, what's up? I just did a podcast and this asshole asked me if dad killed himself. I just got to check that off the list.
No, I don't think he did. He wasn't on any medication where I think he like probably could have. I mean, I don't know. I highly doubt it. They said it was like a heart failure or whatever, liver failure, or just fucking cancer or whatever. Crushed him.
Hey dude, someday you're gonna have kids and you're gonna trip. Oh, I can't even say it. You're gonna fucking trip that your dad had to leave you. You're gonna feel so bad for him. That's the worst. The thought of having to leave your kids.
Yeah, I
It's
can't imagine what he
fucking
would.
nuts.
He was such a different dude too when he got sober. Like he would, we just had more like one time I remember me and my mom getting this huge argument, and him just like I never saw this. The only time I ever saw him cry, and he like just walks up to me, starts crying. He's like, "Hey, dude, we gotta be a family." I was like, "Damn, all right." And then like a couple hours later, I'm like stealing money to go get fucked up.
Oh God. How old are you?
Right now,
Uh,
26.
yeah. And you have a girlfriend?
She's great.
I say so much fucked up shit on the show. I don't even know what these people are talking about. Geez, Sevon. What the fuck, Sevon? I'm not even sure exactly which asshole comment they're talking about.
I've heard so.
I don't even know which one.
I make my own dead dad jokes and shit like that. So I mean, it's you go through something hard in life, and it's easier to live with if you can find a little humor in it and not take it so seriously.
I was a nanny for two boys. I was a nanny when I was 18 years old. By the way, no one. I was a fucking great nanny, but no one should ever let their dudes watch. You should never leave your. If you have kids, don't leave your kids alone with dudes. Yeah, I'm sexist as fuck. Don't leave dudes are. But I was a great nanny, and I was a nanny for these two boys, and their parents were they were in the clothing business, and they're really wealthy, and they were like Hong Kong nationals. They were born in Hong Kong. They were Chinese, and super traditional Chinese family. My sister got me the gig. She knew the family through a daycare she worked at, and like every day I would get out of city college, and I'd go pick these kids up from school, and I'd take them home, and I'd rage with them, right? And I just like I wonder what they think of me now. But we partied hard. Like they were this super strict traditional Chinese family, but I would do like go in their backyard and throw rocks as hard as we could, play super loud music in my car. I rage with them. I always play these games with them where I beat them with pillows. Until they started crying. They love that shit. They would always ask for more. And one day the lady comes home and she tells me she has breast cancer. And I was 18. And I just had a fucking million fucking questions. I think that's the day I was born as an interviewer. That's the day I was. And I remember being like, what's that? And like, do you die from it? And I started asking her all these questions and she really appreciated it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being like, and I remember all the questions being uncomfortable, but I couldn't stop them from coming out. I mean, I could have, I just didn't like, it just seemed like I should ask this. Not, and you know, not like everyone else. I knew the traditional route was just to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I'm doing that. I'm going that way. And I remember telling my mom that, and my mom giving me an attaboy. And I stayed there like for 2 hours talking to her about what breast cancer is and how she was going to address it and how she was going to try to fix it and all this shit. She ended up having what's it called when you have your breast removed? Is that a vasectomy? I don't remember what it is. Do you know what it's called?
No, vasectomy is when they cut the tube, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Your dick.
Yeah, right. Thank you. What's it called? Someone will tell me in the
no idea.
But anyway, that sucked. I felt so bad for her. but she was yeah. Oh guys, yeah, on a good note, there's like 80,000 trucks traveling to yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna have Cedric Lapointe on Friday.
What is that? What do you mean 80,000 trucks heading to Ottawa to end the mandate?
So they got this fucking guy, this leader of Canada has completely lost his mind. This guy Trudeau. I mean, completely. It's almost time for another government to intervene and go get him. I mean, he's completely fucking lost his mind what he's doing to the Canadian people, and the truckers in Canada have had it. So trucks are just pouring into Ottawa. I think they're basically just going to shut the city down. They're going to circle the city with semis and shut it down. And this guy who owns a CrossFit gym, either there or en route to there, his gym's been closed, basically for fucking 2 years. I'm gonna have him on the podcast. Do you know him? He's a regionals athlete. Cedric.
Yeah, I've heard of Cedric. Yeah.
I think he was in I think I've had him on the show before, and I think he was in the Last Chance qualifier.
He was in the Last Chance. He hurt his back.
Right. Okay. And so I just reached out to him the other day and I said, "Hey, how's your training going?" or something. And he's like, "Hey, they're gonna take me to jail because I'm keeping my gym open." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, and I'm letting the truckers on their way to Ottawa spend the night in my gym and like take showers." I'm like, "Dude, you got to come on the podcast." He said, "I'm game." Dude,
wow.
That their leader Trudeau. Yes.
Good for them. That's fucking serious shit. And fuck that guy Trudeau.
Yeah, he's a piece. Dude, they're making propaganda that's telling kids basically that anyone and they're getting kids to repeat it, that anyone who doesn't take the vaccine should go to jail. So like they're basically, you should never talk to anyone's kids. Just so you know, if you talk to my kids and I didn't accept it, like you said something to them that I didn't like, I would beat you with a bat. Like, I don't care, like, if you're fucking Francis Ngannou, you're toast. Do not fucking talk to my fucking kids about dumb shit. Try to fucking indoctrinate my fucking kids. I don't fucking indoctrinate my kids.
Do they go to public school, your kids?
No, fuck no.
Really? I'm so scared about that. Like, what
You'll never let your kids go to school by the time you have kids. You'll never let your kids school.
Dude, public school is the best thing that ever happened to me, but I just feel like
me too.
I know, but seriously, but I'm that way. Like, I was able to experience such a huge, broad spectrum of like where people come from. I mean, I grew up in one of the most diverse areas in the country. White people were a minority.
But listen, I thought I grew up in one of the most diverse places on the planet too, Berkeley, California. It ends up that it's not. It's actually the least diverse because everyone there thinks the same. They're all fucking tools. They're all indoctrinated tools.
Now
I'd rather live somewhere with all fucking black people or all fucking white people or all fucking Asian people where at least you can think differently. It's crazy. If you're a black dude in Berkeley and you're conservative, you're fucked.
But that's the thing, dude. Berkeley, I feel like in parts of California are so politicized. Where I grew up, like there was nothing political about my childhood until I'm turning until really Obama. And then by that point in time, I'm probably 16. I mean, when did Obama get elected? 08? So maybe a little younger. But
I don't remember, but I grew up in that. Like everything was politics.
Nothing was politics where I grew up. Yeah.
I wasn't raised with like, hey, this is what's going on. There's something called abortion and people get pregnant and then some people don't want the child and here's ways of mitigating that, or is it killing the baby? I wasn't taught like how to thought. It was just like pro-choice.
Yeah.
How
Wow.
dare you do this to women? And if you even like, you weren't even allowed to think for like, well, is the baby okay? If we get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? It's
crazy.
bad in California.
My parents wouldn't even discuss who they were voting for with each other. Like my dad was such a
Wow.
firm believer in like you're right, your vote, it's no one else's business. I'm come from a very like, you know, I would say probably libertarian mindset, at least for my dad and my dad's side of the family. Just
Yeah.
minimal government and your choice, stuff like that.
The thing is it's even that article that I was talking about in the Morning Chalk. That article is written to present to you how to think. It's not a good way to raise your kids. It's like, hey, do you want a black shirt or a white shirt? And then refuse to let anyone else talk about yellow shirts, red shirts, or blue shirts. It's not fucking cool.
Yeah. We're not even taught that in school. Like they say the word critical thinking all throughout school, but no one, I mean, as a kid, you're like, what the fuck is critical thinking? And they're just teaching it as this subject that they should assume you would know what it is. And it's obviously to question what you're hearing, to question authority, stuff like that. You know, they don't teach you that. They're like critical thinking, but listen to everything I say. It's true.
Hey, even words like focus. I remember being in my 20s, 23, 24, and it was the first time I had ever done, or maybe like it was like the third time I'd ever done MDMA. And I realized what focus is. I was watching a seagull for like an hour fly around. And I was like, holy shit, for 23 years, I've heard people say, just focus, just focus. I'm like, I never even knew what the fuck that word meant.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Homeschool is illegal in Brazil. Wow. I don't know if is that true?
I bet you most kids don't even go to school in Brazil.
Yeah, no shit.
My picture of Brazil is you're born, they give you a soccer ball, and then you play in the favela.
The favela, yeah. The favela. That's
racist. So going back, so you're in Fairfax, and is your mom working full time too?
Yeah, yeah. She works.
So double income. Life's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Christmas tree, presents under it.
Yeah, I didn't want for anything really growing up. I feel like my story is one of self-inflicted hardship and adversity. You know, as a drug addict typically is.
And is the first drug you do? Are you in? You said you would take packs of cigarettes from your dad. How old were you? Did you say 13?
6th grade, so 11.
11. Okay. And had you started drinking yet?
I had already drank one time before that, and I had started smoking weed at like 11.
Wow. How do you get weed at 11?
Dude, my best friend's brother was a drug dealer. We would go into his basement, and he would have those fucking hefty black trash bags full of weed. I can't even express to you how cool that was.
I know.
11-year-old.
Yes.
Dude, I'm like looking at my friend Caleb. I'm like, let's just fucking take a handful. He's like, no, we can't do that. He weighs it. And I was like, how's he gonna fucking notice that? It's huge, dude. There was this nug one time was like this fucking long in the shape of a dick. It literally looked like a pine cone. We're just like taking pictures of it, like we're giving it. It's just, yeah. He was that's pretty cool.
And did you, when the first time you smoked weed, do you even get high as a kid? Like
I pretended to be high because my friend was, or at least he said he was. He rolled the shittiest loose blunt ever. Like it was like falling apart as we're smoking it.
Yeah, that's how you got to learn somewhere. And he was only 11 too.
He was 12 a year older than me.
Wow.
Yeah, he lived with me for a while actually. I think when we were like 14 to 15, maybe him and his mom lived with me and our family.
How did that happen?
She like lost her job or something, and his parents were divorced. So like they moved in with us for like a year.
How was that? Was that cool or shitty?
Yeah, he was my best friend. I mean, the shittiest part about it was like he was a drug addict just like me, and he would just steal my weed. Like I would steal money from my parents, and I'm like, this is my fucking weed. I stole this fucking money. And then I would like come home from school because he went to an alternative school at that time already, and like all my shit would be gone. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Hey, it was like that for me in college too. I lived with just so many fucking drug addicts. Literally, like I would come home and there'd be dudes in my room smoking my shit or doing my shit, and like no one even cared. Like
I
it would just be like, oh, sorry. I'm just like, what? So, 18 days in a row. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
You know I come home at 2. Like, get the fuck out of my room. At least try to hide that shit.
Yeah, he wouldn't even say sorry. He would just lie. He'd be like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I swear I didn't do it. Like, we both smoked it last night. I was like, no way. I'm a drug addict. I knew exactly how much I had, bro.
Yeah, you're saving that little corner of the bag, right? Because you know you're gonna need it when you come home from wherever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So when you start smoking at 11, do you basically smoke? How many years do you smoke straight for?
I like took a there was a one point where like I got into this DWI accident with my dad, and I was like, I can never end up like this. We were on my street. Or I remember because it was after football practice. We go to this a sports bar that he always goes to pick up food. And he was just like feeding me quarters to play that like deer hunter game.
Dude, your dad would take you to a bar after football
Dude,
practice?
a sports bar. Yeah, it's called Neighbors Bar and Grill.
And what would he order? Like chicken wings to bring home for the family?
No, the shittiest cheeseburgers ever. And they would have like these fucking 2 like pickle slices that would drench the fries, and the fries would just taste like pickles. So, anyways, he's getting food, and we're there for like fucking 2 hours, and he's just feeding me quarters.
Because he's drinking.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was playing that like Deer Hunter, that arcade Deer Hunter game for like 2 hours, and I had no idea why. I still was young enough to not understand. Like, we're there for 2 hours because he's getting fucked up, not so that he can let me play Deer Hunter arcade. I thought that's what we were there for.
Is this pre-cell phone?
I think I had like an LG chocolate, like
Okay.
one of those little fucking slide flip phones. So he was like, we're there for a while, and we're leaving, and I'm walking straight to the truck, and he's going that way. And I'm like, hey, Dad, the truck's over there. And he's like, oh, all right. So you get in the truck. We pull out of the shopping center, and we're going down this 2-lane road, and there's a red light, and there's like 20 cars backed up to the red light, and he's going like 40. And I'm like, Dad, it's a red light. And he swerves into the other lane and stops beside people. And luckily, there's no one else coming the other direction, and we're just sitting there. The light turns green. He gets back into our lane. We take the right.
How old are you?
12.
Are you tripping?
Yeah, I'm fucking freaking out. I'm like, he must be drunk. I'm like, this must be what it is like for him to be drunk. And I'm like, holy fuck, what's going on? But we're like literally less than a mile from my house. I'm like, we can do it. We can get home. So
we can do it.
He's already missed the first spot where you can turn into our neighborhood. So he goes down, takes a right at the light. 100 yards down, there's another entrance to the neighborhood. He takes that right. I'm like, all right, we're fucking good to go. It's like a 400, maybe 800 meter drive back to the house. And we're going around this turn, like up into our neighborhood, and he just goes straight and fucking runs right into this tree and runs the car into the ditch, this truck into the ditch. My fucking food goes everywhere on the floor, bro. I'm like, God damn it.
Oh, that's what you're worried about?
Dude, my cheeseburger's everywhere. I'm like, fuck me. So he backs out and just these other kids that lived like down the street from us were behind us in their car. And I know this later because their parents like asked me about it. Like, hey, are you guys okay? So we drive back home.
Are you able to drive? Oh, so you are able to drive away.
He drove away. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. He backed out.
Does he say anything? Does he say, hey, are you okay, Taylor?
And he's like, you all right? And he's like, pick that stuff up. And so I'm like picking cheeseburger up, putting it back in the fucking styrofoam container. We pull into the driveway. He gets out of the truck, immediately falls down. So I'm like helping him carry him into the house, helping him walk into the house.
Oh, your mom probably wanted to fucking kill him. I would.
She wasn't.
My
home.
wife would fucking kill me if I drove drunk with the kids. I'd be dead.
Dude, she wasn't home. So I like help him walk into the basement, like lay him down on the couch, and he lays his. He can only get onto the couch. He's a big dude, so I could I'm not fucking carrying him as a 12-year-old. I'm just like propping him up. He like lays down on the couch where like his feet are half off and his whole like upper body's on the end table. Just fucking crazy. So like that happens. I'm like, dude, I can never end up like this. I'll never drunk drive. I'll never get fucked up drinking, and I'm not smoking anymore. And I remember this one time I had my friends over, and they're like, hey, you want to go smoke? My friend Caleb, who had lived with me for that period of time. I'm like, no, dude. I just seen like one of those commercials, like the Above the Influence commercials. I was like, so you can imagine this 12-year-old kid saying this. I was like, no, dude, I'm above the influence.
Hey, is any part of you just want to start like if I'm like yesterday I was in the garage riding my kid's one wheel. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Yep.
And and I start to get a little squirrely. I'm going 2 miles an hour. Like I can bear, when I say I'm riding it, like I'm suck.
Yeah.
I'm like just balancing on it. And my 7-year-old's like starting to cry because he thinks I'm going to crash. Do you know what I mean? He's not
Yeah.
worried. He's worried about like his dad getting hurt. Are
Yeah.
you like, are you like just holding back tears the whole time and just pushing that shit down? Like how are you processing that? I remember when my dad broke his leg when I was a kid. He didn't even know how he broke it. He came home from work. He's like, my leg's hurting me. And then he ended up having a broken leg. And he went to the doctor and came back and he had a cast on his leg. And I just remember I was fucking bawling.
No, I was so oblivious, dude. I was already wrapped up in this lens of life where like it was all about me and what I didn't have. Because I feel like I'm growing up through this. I mean, a lot of it is that he was a shitty dad. He just did not give me attention, and he would never say, "Hey, I love you," or "You're doing good enough." It was always, "What can you do better? What are you doing wrong?" So I have this drug addict perspective of like I'm not good enough, fear of what people think of me, fear of inadequacy, fear of never having enough, fear of no one loving me, definitely not loving myself, and so I'm probably not wasting 2 moments of my fucking existence concerned about what somebody else is feeling or what they're gonna go through. It's just complete self-preservation mindset as a drug addict.
As you're older now, do you leverage that pathology? Are you trying to get rid of it or do you leverage it? Are you like, oh, I'll show these motherfuckers now? Like I told my wife the other day, I want this podcast to fucking just take over the world to prove to the world that I'm the greatest. And I'm like, she just starts laughing. I'm like, but I don't even know who. I'm not even like mad at anyone. I need someone to be mad at. I don't even know who I'm trying to. My parents already love me too much. I don't
That's
have nothing to
funny.
prove to nobody.
I mean, I'm sure
Like I'm
there's
trying to spin this
yeah.
narrative. Fuck you all. I grew up in the hood. I'll tell all you motherfuckers. Nope, I don't got none of that.
I think there's some degree of like I wanna be extremely successful, and I will be, but I want that to show, like, you can go through what I've gone through and
Yeah.
still be extremely successful, but no, as, like, somebody who's trying to not ever do drugs again, you typically don't wanna have that mindset. It is fucking poisonous to live a life of resentment and, eh, like you said about the nicotine thing, that's allowing someone else to occupy space in your mind. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want and I did that for a long time, like, even sober, like, I was chasing things and, like, having goals, you know, subconsciously at the time that I was not self-aware of, but, like, all centered around, like, proving my dad wrong or proving that I'm good enough or,
Yeah.
doing
Yeah. Like
something that
leverage that. Like, yeah, I bet you wish you would have loved me now, motherfucker. Or like,
exactly, exactly, and that can be a powerful motivator, but
yeah. The shitty part is that, like, and I guess we should ask more games athletes, but I can't remember which football player it was, but he had won like his second Super Bowl and he was being interviewed on 60 Minutes and they said, is that the greatest moment of your life? And he said, I would trade a Super Bowl victory to go fishing with my dad. And life really is like that. Every time like you succeed something, like let's say you get your black belt and like you're excited for like 5 minutes and then you go home and it's like nothing beats it. If you There's times that I thought that getting something was going to fill this void and
mhm.
then it was hollow and it's actually really bad. Like I
Yeah.
remember the first film festival I won and I thought I was going to be like, yeah. And instead I went back to my hotel room and cried. I'm like, that was stupid. That was stupid.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
it's just
relate with that.
empty.
I relate with that for sure. I mean, they're like, dude, I hated myself for so long. I mean, I still, fuck, the last 3 years of my dad's life when he's sober and a totally different person and like receptive to like being a father and spending time with me, I'm the exact opposite at that point. So I felt like when he died, I was like, damn, I squandered every fucking opportunity that I had
Oh
to like
yeah.
have a relationship with him. So I for sure relate with that. I mean, dude, I mean, things happen the way they happen, but yeah, dude, 10 minutes with him just to where I am now would be. I mean, it's a pipe dream that would never happen, but and I don't know that I would give a lot for that because the life I have today is pretty amazing because of the events that happened. But yeah, for the longest time, I just wished that I hadn't been the piece of shit that I was.
And your mom's still alive.
Oh yeah, yep,
So you can just overcompensate with her.
dude. We have yeah,
You know
dude.
what I mean?
Me and her are
Like
so
anytime
close.
you want some time with your dad, just go fucking spend it on your mom.
Dude, yeah, for sure. And me and her are so close. I love the fact that me and my mom are best friends, and I have like the same. I just tell her everything. You know, I have the same. I'm my same self pretty much with everyone, but especially with her. She's awesome.
Where's your last name from?
I don't
Do you
know.
know?
Maybe I think it's Western European. My parents, my great, sorry, someone on my mom's side of the family, like her great grandfather or something, immigrated from Ireland, um, into South Carolina, and no idea about my dad's family. They're just fucking, you know.
Hey, can someone get the dog? He has to take a deuce and he's barking by the door. Yeah, feel free. As long as you're dressed, because we can kind of see you back there. Or I guess not. If you're not dressed, it'd just be kind of weird. Maybe that would make this the highest rated show
Dude,
ever.
listen to this. I was in this fucking AA meeting.
Is there nudity in this story?
No. Yes.
Oh, awesome.
I'm
I
in
love
this.
it. We need
I'm
more
in this
nudity on this show.
COVID Zoom AA meeting. Holy fuck! This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. This was like 2 years ago, and this old fucking dude is sitting in his living room in his fucking lazy boy, and his huge wife just walks behind the couch, tits out, shirt off, just walks by the camera, and you can see everyone's face go, and he has no idea. Oh my god, nobody said anything, but dude, that was just a trip. It wasn't like cool nudity. It was like that's gross. She was
I
really
don't know.
super
There's
old.
no gross. There's no
No, it
gross.
was gross, dude.
I love nudity. I accept all nudity of all kinds. The only part of I don't like the only part that's sad is like occasionally you'll see bodies stacked like cords of wood and they're all naked like in some fucking Holocaust or genocide or famine. Other than that,
Dude,
I really enjoy nudity.
Like, dead bodies are fucked up. That's not the only. My dad wasn't the only one I saw too. I was sober, and my cousin's grandfather had passed away, and she was.
That's your life. You know what I mean? By the way, how you started that story.
Hmm.
These are stories that come from my sober library, and these are stories over here that come from my fucked up library. You know,
For sure.
I mean,
dude,
you have
two
down
different.
aisle 6 is the drunk stories, and down
Dude, it's
aisle 5 is
crazy.
the sober stories.
The contrast is insane. I mean, it's
I
true.
know.
It's so fucking
It's
true.
so good. I love
Dude.
it. I'm glad you're on the other side. Okay, so from the sober vault, share with us the dead body, please.
Dude, my cousin's grandfather passed away, and she called me crying. I was in South Carolina that her pop was dead, and dude, I like drive to the horse pasture where he was at. He was just fucking.
Who is the chick? She was related to you?
My cousin, yeah.
Okay.
And it was her grandfather, and he had passed away earlier that morning. They think the horse like threw him off the horse. And it was fucking
Shit.
July. It was July, dude, and it was like 4 p.m. It was a grotesque scene, for sure.
Hey, was his body all mangled? Like his head spun around backwards or some shit?
No, not in that regard, but just like 8 hours in 105-degree heat outside. Just doesn't. Yeah, it's gross.
I've seen a bunch of dead bodies. This one particular incident, I saw a car drive through a crowd.
Oh wow!
And it was fucking nuts. And I went over to all the bodies that were dead, and they were all. You're dressed, right? I don't want Taylor going on the next podcast saying he saw Sevon's wife naked. And he's very judgmental on bodies, so he might like you because you have red hair, though. His chick got red hair too, and the bodies were mangled, and that part really fucked me up. Like it would be like a face is caved in, torso spun around, like you know what I mean, like the feet pointed this way and the torso this way. It was, and I'm trying to like console the like anything like if they're like twitching and shit, I'm like trying to, it was so fucked up, and I'm trying like to stay super present because immediately I go into this mode like,
where was this?
In Isla Vista in Santa Barbara in a college town.
And what fucking happened? This guy just fucking drunk?
Dude, this guy fucking hit these people and then jumped out of the car and goes, "I'm the angel of death."
No way. Holy shit. Are you kidding me? Was he on drugs? Or just psycho?
I think a combination.
Probably.
He was a student there. Yeah.
Wow.
Came from a rich Hollywood family, super famous dad. Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. But when you see a body not doing the shit it's supposed to be doing, like that's when you realize. I mean, that's why probably going to war is so fucking hard. You don't realize how much you have this. Well, it's kind of like this. When there's this super duper handsome guy who has no arms and no legs named Kyle Maynard. He's in the affiliate community. He's famous outside the affiliate community too. And and he's very handsome, but he just has no arms and no legs, right? And I think he's born like that. And he showed up at a party I was at one time, and a little kid opened the door while he was there. And the kid was like 3. And this kid screamed like fucking bloody murder.
Wow.
Like the kid, because that's the kid's brain couldn't process how could there be a fucking human being with no arms and no legs.
Dude.
And it's like that, like from seeing a dead body, it's like that as an adult when you see someone who's dead. You don't even realize your brain. It's like almost like you just immediately have an out-of-body experience. You start to disassociate with it. I learned that word from one of my guests, Kayla Harrison. She was molested from when she was 8 to when she was 16, and she said she would disassociate from her body. I'm like, okay, what the fuck does that mean? Anyway, another story. And dude, anyway, have you heard that podcast?
I've heard a part of it, but I want to go watch it because I heard that one clip and it was gold.
Yeah, you would appreciate her. It'd make your bullshit seem like nothing.
No, a lot of people. That's the thing. No, you're right.
It's all right.
So relative. I mean, when you're the person experiencing it, like it's the worst thing in the world because it's happening to you. But
yeah,
people go through some fucked up shit.
Hey, and you know what else is crazy? I think about too, like even as I contextualize all that, I'm like, okay, like how, and I asked her this, how much worse would it have been if you would have been molested of someone of the same sex? Like there's levels to this shit. What if it would have been your dad versus this? What if it would have been like, there's levels to how fucked up shit can get, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, shit, you're alive. And like you're strong and beautiful and handsome and you got a chick and you're sober and it's like holy, and you're on the Sevon podcast, like your life's like just reaching this pinnacle.
I mean, you say that as a joke, but
no, I'm kind of, but also like I believe.
I know you're being facetious, but it's true. I mean, the opportunity that I have is unbelievable, dude. The kid that lived with me for that year, my best friend growing up, he fucking died. He overdosed a year ago, last summer. Yeah, fentanyl.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude. And listen,
how fucking cliche. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, we were the same person. And I go to this funeral. I hadn't talked to him in years. I built this huge fucking resentment against him because I was like 3 years sober at one point, and he spread this lie to everyone that I had relapsed at this concert. I was smoking a Black and Mild, you fuck, and he told everybody that I was smoking a blunt. And
what's the Black and Mild? Just like a cigarette?
It's like one of those long fucking cigarettes with the wood tip that they come flavored, and so.
Oh yeah. Who else made those? I used to like those too, and they come in the cardboard box.
Yeah, the wine.
They got the colored ones too. Those were dope,
dude. So yeah, so I had not talked to him for this longest time. He would hit me up, and I would just be like, I just would fucking ignore him, and we were literally best friends. Like we got into a car accident right before I got sober together. I was driving this car 100 miles an hour, flipped it 6 times. I buckled up because of him.
Wait. Start that story again. Sorry. I looked at one of the comments about dead bodies. Start that. Go back 30 seconds.
I was just putting into context like our relationship, and we spent every moment of our like lives together for several years. We were both getting fucked up in my room one night, and I was dating this girl, and she texted me. She's like, "Hey, I need a ride home from this party." And we were fucked up already. And I was like, "Where do you want to do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, we got it." So my mom's asleep. We go take the car keys. I had just gotten my fucking, probationary license where you can't drive at night. It's like,
so you're 15. So you're 15.
Yeah. So we pick her up, take her back to her apartment. He waits in the car. I go into her room. We get more fucked up, do whatever, have sex. And
how old were you when you lost your virginity?
15. That was with this girl. So
was she cool?
Yeah, she was cool. I'm getting.
Is she alive? Is she alive? Is she alive?
Yeah, she has a husband and kids.
Oh, awesome! That makes me happy. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So, and it seems like she's having an awesome life for sure. And so I like go back down to the parking lot, get in the car. I'm more fucked up at this point. we're on our way home. He's like, I get in the car. He's like, hey, dude, you should buckle up. So I buckle up. We're on our way home. And like, we get this grand idea to see how fast this Ford Fusion will go. And so I'm going 100 miles an hour in this Ford Fusion, like over 100, down this hill. And I'm hitting the bottom of this hill and I'm coming up the hill. And probably a quarter of a mile on my right is a turn to get on this road, that same 2-lane road that my dad, like pulled up in that red light at.
Yeah.
And I see it out of my peripheral vision, the turn, and I just fucking crank the wheel. And obviously I don't make the turn. I go straight into the woods, right into this huge transformer box that like powers a bunch of lights and shit.
And this is your mom's fucking car you stole?
My dad's car that he had, so I was 16 at the time, not 15. He had died like 2 months earlier. He died in September and this was in January. So 3 or 4 months. And
is this the car he got after he crashed the truck?
Yes. He had a Dodge Dakota and this was his Ford Fusion. And he didn't total the truck when he crashed at that time. He sold it. He didn't have his license either. He had like fucking 20 DUIs. So he's just like, why do you have a car, dude? And so I hit this transformer box and I don't remember anything. I just remember the airbags hitting and then me and him both gaining consciousness in this car. But we gained consciousness and where the car's on its side and there's smoke everywhere. So I think the car's on fire. It's just the airbag dust. Come to find out later. But like there's smoke everywhere. So I'm thinking the car's on fire. I'm like, dude, we gotta get out of here. So we both crawl out. It's on the side this way, driver's side up. So we crawl out of my window and we're like standing there. I'm so fucked up. The high beams are on, the music is all the way up, and I'm trying to turn everything off because I'm like, fuck, we're in the middle of the woods. It's dark. It's 1 a.m. If I can just turn the car off, like maybe nobody will find it, is what's going through my head.
And then you go home and deal with it in the morning.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to turn the lights and the music off. Nothing will turn off. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. Let's go home. It's like a mile walk back to my house. So we get like 200 yards down the road. I'm like, fuck, my wallet. I got to get my wallet.
Dude, this is like a movie.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, dude, I got to get my wallet. Because if they find my wallet, they're going to know whose car it is. That's how fucked up I am. Fuck the license plate in the VIN. Anyway, so I'm walking back. It's fucking January. I'm in this fucking cut sleeve shirt, shorts. I was wearing sandals. My sandals are in the car. Or yeah, something like that. And so I'm walking back to the car. There's already like 6 people standing, like looking, like kind of outside. And I walk up in between. I'm like, "Is everybody okay? Have you guys seen anyone?" And like I'm like I run back to the car, pretending to search for people or like see if I can help anyone. I'm crawling through the car, really just looking for my wallet. Can't find my wallet. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. Gave up. So I get out of the car. I'm walking back. There's the same people are there. I'm like, can't find anybody. And I just walk right past them. And so me and Caleb, my friend, walk home. And when I like get to the back door, the cops are pulling into their driveway.
Oh, at your house.
Yeah.
And what happens?
My mom's like, dude, you got to go put some mouthwash in. So I go put mouthwash in. The cops start questioning me. And I just fucking break out in tears and spill the fucking beans, dude. I'm like 16. I was
Did you get a DUI?
Shitless. Yeah, I got a baby Dewey, a reckless driver, corruption of a minor because I was with another minor who was fucked up, driving past curfew. I got all these fucking charges.
So remember how your friend said that you hated your friend because he said that you were relapsed? Yeah. I hate this dude because he said, "Why is your wife wearing a mask?" You know what's crazy? My wife is very, very docile, so fucking chill. But she will not wear a mask. She'll go straight into Whole Foods. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm waiting outside. She's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I don't want to fucking get in a fight with anyone." She's like, "Fuck that." She goes in there. 300, 400 people in Whole Foods, goes to the checker to check out. She's the only one with no mask. She goes in there. They're like, "Yes, man, we can't help you." So she just goes to the next checker until she finds one that helps her. She leaves. So Matt, you'd never see my wife wear a mask, buddy. You never seen it. You don't even know what the fuck. Don't talk about my wife. Poor man's clove. I used to smoke cloves like a maniac. I loved a clove. Chain smoke those fuckers.
Look at Craig White, still smokes weed. LOL.
I love that shit. My wifey and I eat or smoke every night, and my sleep's recovery's amazing.
Yeah, I think we can see that you still smoke weed by your fucking
His picture, his little avatar.
just the way he fucking speaks too.
His vernacular. So you at a young age, you're oh, so I want to talk about your friend who died. So this is this is some white trash shit. So
This is the kid whose older brother was a drug dealer.
Yeah, so he had the bag of weed. Then eventually his mom lost his job, so they live with you for a year, which is already kind of weird. But it kind of speaks volumes of how cool your parents are. And then did you know that he was doing fentanyl? And had you already found CrossFit at that point?
Yeah, I'd found CrossFit. This was so he died last summer. Not last summer, not last chance qualifier summer, the summer prior to that.
And have you seen his mom since he died?
I saw her at the funeral. I was gonna do the funeral story is crazy.
I'm ready.
All right. Are you sure, dude?
Yeah. Hey, I have to go pee. This sucks. So, you know what I was thinking?
Go pee, me too.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking? This is weird because I was thinking these fucking assholes, but I can't really say that because they're such good dudes. But Matt Souza, Will Brandstetter, and Caleb Beaver.
Yeah.
His name's Caleb Beaver, but he goes by C Beaver. What a great name. These guys, they must not think you're. Usually there's a guy in the background I can see. Like, so when you would have said North Carolina, they bring up a map of North Carolina.
Yeah. I'm not worth that, dude.
Or when you say giant bud, the size of a penis, they'd bring up a penis. These guys aren't here today because you're not big time enough. If this was fucking Jason Hopper I was interviewing, they'd be fucking here in a second.
Oh, dude, for sure.
But it's Taylor Self, and they okay. You have 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds. Pee break, everyone. Pee break.
All right.
You beat me. That's why you're a games athlete. I'm just a regular human being. You're, there was this in 2008. When I was taking a piss, I was holding my dick in my hand. And I go, I wonder if Joe Rogan ever took a piss break and just abandoned his podcast for 20 seconds or 30 seconds. And then I was thinking about what someone asked Dave one time at the 2008 games. Someone's like, what if someone gets injured? And someone goes, well, what do they do at the Olympics? And Dave goes, fuck the Olympics. As I'm holding my dick in my hand, I was like having a conversation with myself. What would Joe Rogan do if he had to take a piss? And I was like, fuck Joe Rogan.
Fuck Joe Rogan.
He's a good dude. I don't mean that.
Dude, he's the messiah of American freedom right now.
Oh my God. Him and a Russell Brand. I'm so glad they fucking flipped the script. Those were the fucking most, they remind me of myself. They're just liberal fucking retards and they just fucking woke up.
Especially Russell Brand.
Rogan endorsed Bernie Sanders. It's really? Fucking complete insanity. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's fucking.
I believe it. Yeah,
it's woman hating, human hating, black man hating. I mean, all that shit is just putting your neck on foot on some people's neck and stopping them from persevering. It's just it's the same thing that Morning Chalk-Up article is doing by attacking Noble for not sharing the money on the shirts. Like, shut the fuck up and go get yours, bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, Rogue, go to Rogue then. I know athletes who got fucking made tons of money through Rogue. Go to fucking Bill Henniger and Katie Henniger. Do what fucking Rich is doing. That motherfucker, people will fucking drive 100 miles out of the way with $5,000 cash from their friends and buy as many fucking Mayhem shirts as they can and then bring them back to their friends.
Yeah.
Like, no one gave that shit to Rich. We didn't give him anyway.
Dude, I have a t-shirt logo now. It's pretty crazy.
Let's see. Can I see it?
Yeah, my friends, people at my gym made it. I'll pull it up on my phone.
I love the best guys. Like I would fucking sell a piece of my soul to get Tia on the show. But I
Look at that.
fucking. Oh yeah, I saw that. That is good. Who made that?
My friend Boomer, he actually has 3 Emmys. He's a producer. He produced a couple 30 for 30s. He goes to our gym.
Wow.
But he submitted it on, the dude's a fucking, I mean, he's a high achiever. He's a good dude, but
And I'm sure you paid him thousands of dollars and promised him royalties from all your shirts and blah 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 blah.
I didn't pay him shit. They did it.
I know.
He did it out of
So
I know.
good.
I know. He did it out of the goodness of his heart. He just had he took a headshot of me and they put it on this website where like artists can compete to come up with a rendering, and you pay for like a package of however many interactions you get to adjust the final product or whatever. And yeah,
That's like I went to the real
Boomer is a legend. Look at Will.
Who's Boomer?
The guy.
Oh, your buddy. Yeah. Hey, so that's the guy, that kid right there, Will Brandstetter.
Yeah.
Last night I'm laying in bed and I fucking pull up the my kids I'm waiting for my kids to fall asleep, and I pull up the Real Sevon podcast Instagram account. It has like fucking over 4,000 followers, and it's fucking the nicest Instagram account I've ever seen. That dude fucking does it.
Dude, I've met
and I
him
don't
in
pay him
person.
shit. I think I've given him $100.
I've met him in person. He lives in Charlotte.
Will?
Yeah. He
Wow.
competed at my competition that I ran.
The same dude? Will, you competed?
Will
no idea.
Brandstetter. Yeah, he did the intermediate. It's basically RX division. Had an RX and an advanced division.
Dude kind of looks like a young version of me with a little Jufro, like.
He kind of looks like, he reminds me of the goat man from Narnia. I forget what that's called. You know what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen
Pan? Is it Pan? Isn't that is it Pan? Kinda.
Is it a Pan? I don't know. But let me pull this picture up because this is mean. I'm making fun of you, Will, but you're a good dude, so you can take it.
Oh, he's such a good dude.
Narnia goat man. This is what I'm gonna Google.
He says competing might be a stretch of words. Oh yeah. Will's the straight version of that guy.
All right.
That guy definitely goes both ways. That guy you showed the picture of. So we were talking about a gnarly funeral. Yes.
Yeah.
So because basically she's kind of like a relative of yours at this point, right? It's your best friend's. Your best friend's mom, and she lived with you. At that point, there's some familial shit going on.
We were extremely close. Me and Caleb were, and I want to preface, obviously, like I'm just sharing this story through my lens, and there's obviously a lot of, there's a lot of other perceptions and probably of the events that happened, and a lot of good reasons that things happened the way they happened. But essentially, we had this funeral at this baseball / football park called Waters Field, where he just played Vienna youth baseball and football his whole life, and it was a huge part of that community, me as well. So we had the funeral outside there because of COVID, and we're at this funeral. Basically, at that point, only a handful of people knew how he had died, and his other family, he was extremely close with, probably closer with, they knew. And I kept asking one of the boys who was my age, like, hey, how did he die? And he's like, it's not for me to say. And I just was getting so fucking upset about it. Like, I was getting so fucking angry that he wouldn't tell me. But it wasn't his place to, you know what I mean? So I have this at the time I had this fucking bit of resentment because I didn't know how he died. In my heart, I knew how he fucking died. He was just like me. And this I know for a fucking fact is I knew him and what made him tick as well as anyone, as well as he himself fucking knew it. Because I'm, sober at this point. We were the exact same person doing the exact same things for the exact same reasons. Even if he himself wasn't aware of it because he wasn't sober and didn't have that lens to view it through. But so anyways, we're at this funeral and I'm sitting in this fucking fold out lawn chair, whatever, and people were like getting up to speak about.
That's some North Carolina shit. A lawn chair at a funeral. I like it,
dude.
12,000 lawn chairs. Take one.
It was like a fucking few hundred people there. It's a huge funeral, and people are like getting up to speak for him. And I remember seeing, his older stepbrother, not his actual brother, who was this drug dealer, and just the resentment fucking building. Like, fuck this guy, standing up there, like. And
Like you think like that guy sold in the fentanyl, maybe even.
probably not, but fuck, you become what you're raised around.
Right.
And anyway, so I'm just sitting there like seething, and this baseball coach of ours, named Doc Havens, he's a doctor, an actual doctor, gets up to speak, and he's the one who signed his death certificate. And no one, granted, this entire time, there's got to be like fucking maybe 10 people who know how he died. The one family who he was also extremely close with and spent a lot of time with, his dad, stepmom, stepbrother, and then his mom and brother and real sister, I'm sure knew. And so this Doc Havens gets up to speak, and he's like, says a few things about Caleb, and he's like, and a lot of people ask me not to say anything about this, but I can't go on keeping this secret, and it's not good for the community. It's not good to pretend like these things don't happen. And he basically just fucking spits the truth on him overdosing on fentanyl and how it's the real pandemic, and it's fucking killing our youth. It's killing our fucking families and just wreaking havoc. The opioid epidemic. And he shares his own story about coming from middle of nowhere, West Virginia, where that was like,
breakfast, lunch, and dinner, fentanyl.
yeah, literally. And it was just crazy. So I'm like sitting there fucking crying my eyes out as this is happening. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like maybe if I would have fucking talked to him, just, there's always those what ifs.
Of course.
But man, if you don't get sober unless you want to get sober, that's
leading cause of death for I think dudes like your age and younger in the United States right now. I think that might be true.
Yeah, overdosing on drugs.
Yeah, on fentanyl specifically.
I think fentanyl.
But it's okay. Put your mask on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, I would let just so you know, I would let every fucking person over 70 who died of fucking COVID die and give them a standing ovation to save your friend. Me personally, like if I was God.
Yeah, dude.
I would spin back time, and I would have never had a lockdown, and I would have never done anything, and I would have let just to save one fucking dude in his youth.
The amount of potential that kid had too. The most athletic person I've ever met. Unbelievable. The shit he would do. One time we were playing baseball. We were on Doc Haven's team. We're playing baseball. We're going out to take the infield. I'm at second base. I play second base. He plays shortstop, and he's jogging past me. This was probably the most embarrassing thing, one of the most embarrassing things to ever actually happen to me, but one of the most athletic things I've ever seen. With his baseball glove, he does a cartwheel 6 inches from my face and farts as his ass passes my face. Everyone's freaking out, and I'm like, God damn, dude, this kid just cartwheel farted in my eyes. But he was just,
and he gave you a lifetime memory,
dude.
That's a good dude.
The memories that me and him have. But that was to go back to the opportunity, like even just being on this show and fucking making no money, barely being able to pay rent. But dude, I get to wake up and do what I love every day, and I have the opportunity to fucking live my life and not be fucking dead and overdosed. That's crazy.
Yeah, it just sucks that young people, like, there's so many. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anyone to get it twisted. I don't want anyone to fucking have an untimely death. But if you're 70 or 80, you've had plenty of time to fucking get your shit in order. And the youth of this country and the youth of the world should not be paying the price for you. I would never do that to my fucking kids. I would never do that to a fucking child. I would never want the world to do anything for me to compensate for 30 years of fucking chugging Coke.
Could you imagine like what it's like? Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. I just can't imagine what it would be like as a parent for your fucking kid to die, dude. Holy shit.
And I would resent every single fucking person who participated in the pandemic narrative. I would give them a piece of the blame for my child, even if it wasn't healthy. And like, I know it wouldn't be healthy, but I would still do it. I would go there.
Yeah, I like how can you go through something like that in a healthy way? I mean, it's what does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like, what is the fucking healthy way to grieve a fucking child's death or a father's death, or how is there one healthy way? I feel like the healthy way is the way that gives you the best perspective, maybe 10 years down the road. But I mean, fuck, when you're.
Yeah, you're right. It's like what's the best way to get punched in the face by someone as hard as you can? It's like, what?
Take it.
To heal.
Take it.
to grow from it 10 years later. You're
The
right.
Jiggy Josh, dude. If that was on video, just the way it happened, I can't begin to describe. Like, have you ever heard of something like that? It was unreal.
He knows.
Who
Jiggy
thinks to
Josh
fart,
knows it was athletic. He
who
knows.
thinks to fart at the top of a cartwheel in someone else's face? Oh my god.
Hey, what you told a story about when you got sober. What's it was after seeing your dad. Was it after seeing your dad crack? Is that when you got sober?
No,
Seeing your dad.
after my dad died, I didn't get sober. I like dropped out of school. I got into the most miserable point of my life where like I'm waking up every single day like fuck, I can't do this anymore. I hate myself. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a piece of shit. My dad's
Are you
dead.
is God in your life now?
Yeah.
It was God in your life then?
No.
Okay.
Not that I
It,
felt.
but maybe not that you felt, but did you ever pray? Were you ever like, what the fuck, God? Why are you doing this to me? Did you
Oh
have
yeah,
any of
yeah.
those things? Okay.
For sure.
Okay. Okay.
Like why me? Like why?
Yeah.
All that.
Okay.
So I'm like in this point where I'm getting fucked up every single day. I'm waking up in the morning. I'm making this commitment every single morning. I'm like, I'm never doing any of this again. I'm like, throw my fucking weed out the window. 2
Yeah.
hours later, I'm like crawling out on my roof in the gutter trying to find it.
Yeah.
Because I can't fucking,
Been there.
because I can't, because I can't exist without it. And then,
Was I a fucking idiot? Why did I throw that out?
yeah. And, so then like I wrecked my car, totaled my car with my friend. I remember waking up in the hospital after the cops.
Wait. This is different. How many?
No.
This is different than the.
This is the same accident. They took us to the hospital, both me and him. We
Okay.
walked all the way home, and they were like adamant that we were gonna get into the ambulance and go to the hospital.
Okay.
So I remember waking up like later that morning in the hospital. My mom's next to me crying. I'm thinking to myself, "Holy shit, my dad just died. I almost just fucking died. What would that have done to my mom? I'm like, I can never do this again."
That's a healthy thought, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm like, I make this fucking the strongest commitment I could ever make. I'm like, I'm never doing any of this again. I promise, Mom. I'm never gonna drink again. I'm never gonna smoke again.
Do you put something on the line when you do that?
What do you mean? Like your character? Yeah. Well, I mean,
Like I would do these things. Like I'll give you like a really cheesy example. I would do these things like if I'm I'm doing 100 burpees for time and I'm at 80 and I want to quit and I say, hey, if I do these next 20 in a row as fast as I can, I'll be rich when I'm older. You know what I mean? Like I'll make a promise to myself that can't even keep, but like I'll throw something carrot at the end. Are you like, hey, I'm going to stay sober no matter what. And if I don't, like,
no, I don't.
No.
I'm just making this commitment and meaning it with every ounce of my being.
Okay.
And then the next day I can't follow through. I'm getting fucked up again. I'm trying to get fucked up again. I just can't. I fucking cannot stop. And finally I just get this fucking actually my grandfather had died when I was 14. And he had kind of filled the role of my dad. That's different. We'll just slide past that. So that was my dad's dad. And then my dad's mom was still alive at the time. And I remember
So your grandpa died when you were 14, your dad died when you were 16.
Yeah.
This accident we're talking about happened like when you were 16 also, same year.
Yeah, 16 and a half, we'll say.
And was your grandpa an alcoholic?
Yes, but he was sober for a long time. And so he
Okay.
kind of I spent summers there growing up in South Carolina with him, and he filled a lot of that kind of void that my dad left.
Was he affectionate physically?
Yeah, my grandfather was fucking incredible, dude.
Okay.
Such an incredible guy.
Hey, we've talked about this too in Kayla Harrison's life. She had really cool, affectionate grandparents too.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage people man, I know you already raised your fucking kids, but if you're a grandparent, man, step up, man.
Yeah.
Grandkids need you. Okay.
For sure. And so I remember my mom's out of town one time. Her sister is staying with me to watch me, and I skipped school again this morning, and she's freaking out at me. Like we get into this fucking huge argument, and I just can't stop thinking to myself, like I barely know this fucking lady. You know, she's an aunt that I'm not close with at all, and I just feel fucking sick to my stomach that she's in my house telling me what to do and fuck her and blah blah blah. So I call my grandmother, like the only one I feel like I can talk to, and I remember I'm on the phone with her, and she's like, telling me that she believes in me and she has faith in me and that I'm gonna, and she knows everything that's going on at this point. And then like fucking a month later, she fucking dies. And I just have this fucking gift of desperation. And I'm just like, fuck, I don't know what to do anymore. I remember asking my mom for help, and she put me in rehab with my dad's life insurance.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wait, so tell me that you're 16 at the time?
Yeah.
Tell me that conversation in a little more detail.
With my
You
mom?
Yeah.
I walked into her home office and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I just said, I think I said verbatim, I was like, Mom, I need help. I was like, and I don't know what compelled me to do that other than just fucking what AA calls the gift of desperation. Like shit is so bad for so long, so fucking unbearable that you're like, fuck, I'm willing to do anything different. I don't fucking care. I just don't want to feel this way.
Do you still have the same girlfriend at that point?
I was off and on with her. Yeah.
Was any part of you like, oh fuck, I can't get sober, I'll lose all my friends? Not
No,
like that they won't like you, but like that's what you do together. No.
that didn't even occur in my fucking mind. I was so fucking miserable, dude. I was fucking peeing in Gatorade bottles in my room so I would not have to leave my room.
Wow.
Like, have you seen The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio?
A long time ago.
The end of the movie when he's like the future and he's like in his fucking room naked peeing in those glass milk bottles, dude. Yeah, I didn't want to like if there were people over at my house, like my mom had people over, or my sister was home, like I couldn't leave my room. I didn't want to fucking face anybody. It was crazy. It was
What drugs were you doing at that time? You were drinking weed.
drinking every single day, weed, and some opiates. Some opiates.
Like what?
Like
Like
Oxycontin,
okay.
hydrocodone. Also, before my grandfather, from the point like a year before my grandfather died, to a little while after, when he still had a lot of it, was this cough syrup because he had lung cancer as well. So he
Oh.
had this fucking opiate cough syrup.
Was that fun? I never did cough syrup.
It was I dipped a lot of I smoked weed with it a lot,
Oh.
and that twisted things up a little bit.
I liked and I still like it. I mean I can't remember the last time I've done it. It's probably been years, but I would do it. I like taking like Vicodin, like 2 Vicodin and a beer
Yeah.
sitting on a couch. Oh.
Anytime you mix substances, it's a recipe for some interesting
Oh
shit.
man. I used to anytime I would hurt my back, pop a couple of Vicodin and fucking crack a bottle of wine.
Yeah,
It would be fucking thank you. Tom, you're a good dude. Tom Plaza. Oh,
we're
you know what?
$40 deep. We got to get to 100 before I get out of here, so we can fulfill my prophecy.
I don't think I've mentioned the sponsor in fucking 10 shows. I wonder if they hate me.
Barbell jobs.
Yeah, they're such good dudes. Maybe they'll just be like, "No, Sevon, you've been doing a great job. Don't worry about us. We're just giving you money because we love you."
Yes, like scissor, the Tony Tone, but not like we didn't put fucking Jolly Ranchers in Diet Fanta and then pour a bunch of codeine in it. We just would soak blunt wraps in it and let them dry and then wrap the weed and smoke it.
Oh, wow. You would be patient enough to let them dry. You would think in
Yeah.
advance. Wow. But you were an opportunistic. Your real drugs were alcohol and weed and nicotine.
I would do anything that I could get my hands on for sure. I think the key thing here is I'm 16 when I got sober, so I wasn't exposed to a lot of opportunities to get my hands on some fucked up hard shit.
Right.
You know, if I had waited till I was 18 or 20,
you might have gotten into meth.
I'd be fucking dead.
Yeah. And can you give me like a little more on that? So you walk in, and does your mom start crying or tell you to shut up or hey, just go outside and play, or is she like immediately sensitive to it?
Yeah, she had tried to get me into rehab like a couple other times, and like it would come the morning for me to go, and I'm like, I'm not fucking going. You're gonna have to call the cops and force me to go. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Wow.
You're gonna take me to fucking rehab?
Did your sister ever intervene? She's 5 years older and been like, dude, what are you doing, motherfucker?
No, I don't even remember a single conversation we had in that period of time. She probably fucking hated me. But she didn't live at home either, so we were just never around one another.
Hated you because of just the stress you're putting your mom through?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Siblings are a trip, man. Siblings are a trip. There's some hardcore shit that can happen in life. You can be a really good kid or 2 or 3 really good kids, and you can have one bad sibling and it fuck everything up. And I know some people are going to be really offended by this. And normally I would say go fuck yourself. I don't care, but I apologize. But this is the truth. It's the same with having disabled people in your house. You could have fucking 3 kids and your parents have another kid and they have a kid with Down syndrome and everyone's fucking life changes. And there's the dynamic of living with people is fucking huge, man. Yeah. That's why we're all role models. We all have a responsibility to each other.
I got to answer this guy's question. Is the rehab that expensive in the USA, dude?
Yeah,
It
answer
is.
away.
It's fucked up. That whole business, dude. It's like big pharma. They will fucking rape your insurance companies. If you don't have insurance, they'll fucking rape you for every fucking cent that you have to go to a place like that. It's crazy. I think that's why AA is such a powerful existence. If you have the gift of desperation and are willing to try anything.
So how long were you in rehab? What's it like? Are you with kids? Are you with
Yeah,
adults? Like,
I
do you
was
have
with,
to go cold turkey?
yeah, we were in this young adult men's ward. There was actually two parts to this rehab. There's a 28-day program, and then at the end of the 28-day program, the counselor either like says, "Oh, you're good to go," or they recommend you for extended care, which is
Hey,
another.
I was girl crazy at 16. Were you girl crazy?
Dude, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
in fucking rehab, like jerking off every day, dude.
And like, aren't you just like you're here to be sober, but you're just looking for a girlfriend?
Yeah, could you imagine for
Like
four
who?
months
Yeah.
4 months being in a fucking program with probably 20 other dudes?
No.
All you guys talk about and think about is having sex with girls, dude. It was funny. It was
I was pre-internet too. Like we were a pretty naive bunch. Like the JC Penney's catalog would come to your house and like on the cover would be women in their bras and like that was like stimulating like as a kid.
yeah.
I don't mean like in a perverse way. You wouldn't jerk. I didn't jerk off to him, but like it's not like today. But I was like girl crazy. Like, only reason why I went to school in high school is to see girls.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, for sure.
or write them a note, say hi
Yeah.
to them. You know what I mean? It's just like that's all I want to do, or have one say hi to me. All right, like I'll make it till tomorrow. You
Yeah.
know? Like,
So yeah, rehab was it was girl crazy for sure. More than anything, it was like it gave me the opportunity to be separated from the ability to get high or drunk, which was exactly what I needed. I don't think I would have been able to stay or to get sober just by like going to AA. I'd gone to a couple meetings before that, fucked up. Like my mom was like, "You need to go to a meeting," and I would like get as high as I possibly could, and then go there and sit and.
did you ever think about running away to get high? Like 5 days in, fuck this, I'm out.
Oh, dude, I fucking visualized it every single fucking day. I did not have the balls. I was in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. It's called Wernersville, Pennsylvania. Like you run away, it's probably 10 miles to the closest gas station. How the fuck? I'm 16. I'm a fat drug addict. How am I getting 10 miles to a gas station? And then
You were fat. You were
Oh,
fat.
dude, yeah, I was fat at the time for sure. And
God,
when I say fat, I mean
I can't see you as fat.
when I say fat, I'm 16 and I'm like 5'9" and like 200 pounds.
Okay, that's
So
fat.
yeah. Um,
But you're also athletic. You're capable because you've been playing sports your whole life.
yeah, but
And you're intimate with your body and how it moves and shit like that.
what does that mean in terms of surviving a 10-mile fucking trek by yourself as a 16-year-old through I don't know where the closest gas station is. You know what I mean? So, but I did picture running away every single day. And didn't change any of my behaviors. I was sober, of body, but not really of mind, and I was just a shithead.
Hey,
So
someone said my wife. Someone's saying, listen, my girlfriend works in an opiate rehab, and the company that owns it does not care about the patients one bit.
yeah, they
It's a
don't.
struggle between counselor. Well, I just want to say my wife works at a rehab too, and they fucking care. And
Some
like
places do.
I know the owner.
Some
And you
places
know
do.
what? I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think they're all Scientologists who run the place. And
Really?
yeah, and I think it used to be like a Scientology rehab. Like you go there, like it was funded by Scientologists.
Hmm.
And you know all the negative shit, like stereotypes, like they're the target of fucking, like they're just 1,000 South Park episodes probably. But I don't think it is that anymore, but it's run by Scientologists and those motherfuckers care.
Dude, so
They care so much.
I worked at a rehab that was very homegrown.
And I know the owner, and she like everyone. I think my wife might be the only person there who's not like a
recovering
customer of the place,
Yeah.
of that place. Like I think they only hire from within. A CrossFit, take note of that.
That's a lot of
Do you get that?
a lot of treatment places are like that. But
Don't be like CrossFit Inc. and hire your fucking marketing director from Waze.
so I worked
Please.
at an outpatient place, and it was like this one guy had started, this guy named Brooke, and it was everybody cared there. And then eventually I worked there for like 2 years, and it had been in business for like 9 years.
Yeah.
And then boom, corporate rehab buys them out, and they don't give a fuck anymore.
Hey, wasn't fentanyl developed to get people off of heroin?
Probably. How retarded is that? What the fuck?
Oh my goodness.
Are you kidding
Oh my
me?
goodness. I can think of some really, really gross metaphors. I won't say just because I'm trying to clean the show up just like a tiny bit, but man, that is sloppy.
So yeah, I'm in rehab for
Ivan Vasquez, sugar-free Monster Money. Bring it. Someone asked me the other day, would you take Monster Money? I said $1 million. $1 million. Bring it.
hell yeah.
Bring me the money.
I'd
Bring me
take
the
fucking
money.
1,000 a month for Monster, dude.
Dear
Anyways,
Monster Energy Drink, please sponsor Taylor Self.
I don't like it.
$1,000.
Anyway, so yeah, please.
You looked so good at Wadapalooza, dude.
I was.
You look so good.
Yeah.
You look like
Thank
a
you.
big, strong man. You look fast when you ran across the finish line and you're running through all the assault bikes. You look like a beast. Your hair, your head, you were,
Fucking...
yeah, you were dope. and you were wearing those black shorts. You were dope.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in rehab 4 months, but really the biggest thing it did for me was get me away from the ability to get fucked up. And then
Do you have any friends from there still? Like dudes who were in there with you?
I am like Facebook friends with a couple, but not in contact with a lot of them. Actually, I think all the ones that I'm Facebook friends with probably aren't even sober anymore.
Yeah, they all relapse.
Oh yeah,
they have a
seriously,
92% relapse rate.
legit. I mean, fucking everything does. AA.
Right.
So I went to AA when I got back, and I met my best friend in the world. He was at Waterpalooza with me. He stayed with me for quarterfinals and the last chance. That's such an amazing dude. But
wait, go back to that. Say that again. You got out of rehab and you met your best friend
in AA. I went to AA. So I went
in Fairfax.
Yeah, I started going to meetings like every single day, young people's AA meetings, which saved my fucking life way more than probably rehab did. But rehab.
And are you really just going there to meet girls too? Like that's where my brain would be at 16.
I'm going there because the counselor from the rehab made it part of my aftercare program. Where if I didn't go to these meetings every single day, I'm like, they're sending me back to some fucking shithole.
Okay.
So I'm going to these meetings every day. I get a sponsor. I start doing the whole AA program.
One more thing to put this in perspective, people. This is 10 years ago. So Taylor's 26 now. So this is 10 years ago we're talking. Okay, go on.
I'll be 10 years sober in April, which is crazy. But anyway, so yeah, I meet my best friend. I'm going to meetings every day. I'm like having the most fun I've ever had because there are people that like are happy. And I mean, dude, if you can imagine recovering drug addicts, they're the funniest fucking people on earth. This is so funny. So I just
they have to be, right?
Yeah,
it's like this dude I had on the podcast the other day. He said at some point in your, I'm paraphrasing, at some point in life, you have to take all the fucked up shit that happens to you and use that as fertile ground for material for kind of your stand-up routine. And that's what I've been doing. Like my shit in the van story, it's horrible at the time, but fuck, it's 50,000 views on my YouTube station. You know what I mean?
Dude, I have some friends with the most fucked up stories that are just hilarious, and they can make fun of themselves about it. Yeah, this one friend who sucked a guy's dick for fucking drugs. It was.
And he tells the story?
Yeah, dude.
That's a good dude.
He's a fucking great dude.
I have friends who did that.
God, you will do some fucked up shit.
But they kind of aren't human by the time they get to that point. Was it meth?
Yeah. No, for him it was not meth.
Wow. Wow.
I'm not telling this. It's his story to tell.
Just tell me what drug it was that's worth putting a dick in your mouth.
Heroin.
Oh, yeah. I got it. Heroin and meth are worth putting a dick in your mouth.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. To them at that point in time, for sure. But anyways,
can I before we go to this back to your AA meetings, there's this hierarchy of shit that like if you have to run your life by, you have to. It's like one of the only rules, and it has to be like breathe, and then eat, and then you can interchange fucking shelter. I need those 4 in that order, right? I have to wake up and I have to be breathing. I need food. And then like I could be homeless as long as I'm getting some pussy or some dick. But some shelter is nice too. And those two can like vacillate back and forth depending on where you are in your life. If anything gets in that hierarchy, you're fucked. You are no longer a normal human being. Your operating system is completely corrupt. Meaning if like heroin is more important to you than fucking or eating or shelter, then you're fucked. Your whole fucking system is out of fucking whack. Or do you know what I mean by that? Like and that's what's crazy about being a kid who's a drug addict, because that hierarchy is not even really formed yet. You need that thing to really solidify and so that you can then take those basic. Anyway, that's just one of my philosophies. Like you really just need to keep that in order. Don't let anything get in that mix. And then someone's going to say God first. Okay, I don't care. Throw God in there somewhere. God's not going to like steer you to doing heroin or sucking
Yeah,
dick. So
but you
good.
put
Throw
drugs,
God in.
drugs in there, it fucks everything up.
Yeah, you can't put anything in there.
But you put everything up. You put everything under it, dude. You put everything.
Yes, put everything under it, and eventually you'll get back on track. But if it gets in there, you're a mess.
Yeah, well, it doesn't even get in there. It becomes there. That's it. There's nothing else.
Right.
You don't give a fuck about anything. But
okay, sorry. So
No,
so
you're
you
good.
so you go to AA because your counselor tells you have to go to AA.
Yeah, and AA was for people who don't know anything about AA. One, obviously I cannot be. I'm not a representation of what AA does, because if somebody views me as what AA can do for them, I'm a fuck up and I'm gonna piss somebody off. So just don't even, take me as a example of what it can do. But really, it's an organization run by members who their only vested interest is them staying sober and helping other people stay sober. The only reason, not the only reason, but the predominant motivator for helping other people stay sober is that it helps you stay sober. Giving it away helps you keep it for yourself. That's kind of the premise. So there's no money. There's no. It's all basically recovering drug addicts, just helping other recovering drug addicts or alcoholics.
And when you say there's no money, that means what he's saying. Let me translate that for you. It's not corrupt.
There's no. They don't take any sponsorships. It's the only organization I've ever been a part of where there is no outside influence, because it's against one of the written traditions that the organizational structure is founded upon, to where they don't take any outside money or sponsorship or donations. They don't side or affiliate with any ideologies or philosophies or political anything.
Can white people go?
Yeah, dude.
Can black people go?
Dude, everyone can go.
Oh, okay. Then here comes the tough one. Do you have to be vaccinated to attend a meeting?
So that's kind of the crazy part about this whole COVID structure. There are I started a meeting in my house here, where I was having guys over, a men's meeting. There are a lot of meetings that you can go to. They don't ask for a vaccination card. There are a couple meetings where, like, within the church that you're at a meeting, the church requires a mask, and so you would have to wear a mask. And I didn't go to those meetings, but then they have Zoom meetings and et cetera, et cetera.
And I'm all for. I have no issue if someone wants to start a meeting and they're like, "Hey, everyone here has to like stand on one leg. Everyone here has to wear." I don't know. Never mind. Let's not go down that.
Well, it's not their choice.
I just hate segregating people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to an extent, it's the church's prerogative to say, if you want to have a meeting here, you have to wear a mask. And so
because of our facility, it's our house. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
fair,
but a lot of people were doing meetings outside of. This guy said, "I'd suck a dick for an Eleiko barbell and plates." Oh, that's funny.
Hey, that's commitment. That's commitment.
So.
Hey, what he doesn't tell you is that he
already has.
Yeah. Or just that's his preference. Hey, it's not a big deal if you suck a dick for a Lego bar if like you like sucking dick already. Like, yeah. So I don't want to say anything bad about sucking dick and be accused of being be speaking derogatory of the penis. Having a penis in your mouth is probably just a wonderful thing. I peace and love.
For sure. Okay. Anyways. So yeah, you're right.
I don't want to disparage it. Okay, go on. Okay, so
the whole COVID mess has muddied what it means to be politically affiliated with anything, because there's this guise of, oh, it's science, it's blah blah blah, it's authority, it's the government, we have to, all that. So prior to this, to my knowledge, before COVID and the vaccines, there was never anything politically that interfered with the way any sort of meeting was run. Until now, and that's kind of why this is a scary, unprecedented time. But it's great.
Dude, there's this program called Vipassana. It's a non-denominational meditation retreat. It's 10 days. You go there. It's no eye contact with anyone and no talking. Wow. They don't accept any money from outside sources. They're the only thing I've heard of on the planet. They're the fitness. They are the CrossFit of finding God. They are the crash course in spirituality in a way that I've never heard presented to mankind. And they're requiring vaccinations now to go. Fuck.
AA doesn't.
I have friends. I have friends who are like hardcore.
Well, here's the thing. AA
No
is
one in
not.
their right mind who's looking inside themselves would force anyone to wear a mask. Like
Yeah,
no,
that's crazy.
like
But I wonder how often that leadership is interchanged, or if it's just a constant state of
I
one
just can't.
particular set of leadership there. Because
I don't know, but
AA,
there. What's happening is that there's this cosmic brain or something. I don't know how to explain it that we all share. Some cosmic consciousness or thought, and somehow some polluted shit has gotten in there, and it's running rampant.
yeah,
I guess you could say that about a lot of things.
yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of that in AA. But the thing about AA is that there's no hierarchy in terms of whose say matters more than anyone else's. I'm sure there's a bias at particular meetings to listen to the person with the most recovery time or the most, you know, in-depth knowledge of the big book or the traditions. But every month, leadership turns over. The meeting votes on new people,
Oh,
new service positions, and they don't even they're not leadership roles. They're called service positions because you're being of service to the meeting. So there's
you know
really,
some crazy shit's happened though, right? Like this guy's been your sponsor for 5 years. You love him to death, and now he won't talk to you until you're quadruple vaxxed.
yeah, but that's
You know that
yeah. So
shit's
for sure, yeah.
going down,
Oh,
and it's
guaranteed.
like holy shit.
And that's why. But here's the thing, and that's why. But AA to me is like the CrossFit of sobriety.
Yeah.
Because dude, it works so fucking well because it's
And
not.
why do you say that? Because of community,
Yeah.
regularity,
Oh,
commitment, peer
yeah,
pressure, all that shit.
all of that, and and people, it's this cult like persona in the recovery community. There's these other things like, oh, go hike the AT to get sober, and all these other fucking, you know. But AA is there's no, it's not based upon any one person. It's a spiritual program designed to give you a spiritual experience with a higher power,
I've
and
never heard anyone say anything bad about AA. You can't say that about a lot of shit.
it's fucking incredible, dude. I mean, it saved my life, and it really started my journey towards. I mean, definitely in self-examination and being aware of yourself and your natural tendencies and your defects and all that shit. And that's, to me, one of the most powerful characteristics you can have is someone who's self-aware, like truly. And I don't know if it's even fucking possible to be 100% self-aware, but to be on the journey of that. And it's a spiritual program.
Can you give me an example of self-aware?
Like, I'm in the car and I'm fucking driving down the road and some fucking bitch cuts me off and I start freaking out and I'm like, stop, dude. What are you doing? Why are you freaking out right now? You're basically you're poisoning yourself hoping that it hurts somebody else by getting a resentment at somebody you don't even know in the car. Or a more
Legit.
or a more profound experience would be like me going with a sponsor that I had around like 5 years sober, a guy who like fucking changed my life, going over the trauma of growing up with my dad and then his death and then how my existence became to like prove that I was worthy of him by, doing all these things I thought that he would approve of, and kind of stripping that away and trying to choose for myself who I want to be, which is, noticing that I gravitate towards older men in a mentorship role because I lacked that as a child. Lots of things.
I gravitated towards older men too. I really liked having
A mentor.
Yeah, I just like being like 16 years old and knowing at least like some 40-year-old dudes, and even through college when I was at UC Santa Barbara, like I just like having access to like 50 or 60 or even older dudes, like to talk to hang with, to drink coffee with. I loved older dudes.
It's a huge part of my life today. I mean, I've had so many mentors in AA and out of over the past 10 years that have fucking changed my life and given me new perspectives and have taught me amazing shit. But I know a part of the reason why I seek that out is because I lack that kind of father figure growing up. Yeah.
I wonder if that's why I did. I mean, I saw my dad a lot. My dad was a workaholic. My dad is a workaholic. He's still a workaholic at 80. Yeah. But I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But my parents were divorced. I just saw him I saw him like on the weekends.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, maybe.
I wonder. So then you go to AA. So you're 16 and you've been in AA for 10 years. And when is the God did you go to church every Sunday?
No.
No. And when does the God component come in? That's part of the AA thing, right?
It's
The
a
higher
power.
power.
Yeah, but they're very, very articulate and adamant that it's a God of your understanding. And here's the other thing. It was written in the fucking 1930s. So there's a lot of fucking young woke kids in there trying to change a lot of the verbiage and the vernacular as you use the fucking word in the big book. But to put it
To
in
this day, you're saying there are?
oh yeah, like in now, not to this day, but like recently people are starting to. But you have to put it in a context. These guys wrote the most revolutionary fucking thing on the planet in 1930s of
Right.
inclusivity and progression.
Right.
Chill the fuck out. It
Yeah.
uses the word man in some places and it uses the word God in other places.
Right.
And just relax and understand that they mean humans and a power greater than yourself. And
Right.
they say that many times. So the whole program is based upon you having that relationship of dependence and surrender to a higher power. So I would say I do. I probably gravitate more towards the acceptance that I don't know what's out there, but I believe that there's something greater. And I think that it's not about knowing what is out there more than it is about seeking what is out there and being on the path of kind of that is what kind of brings some of that change and profound realizations and peace and serenity is just seeking God rather than knowing and finding God. You can't find God. Maybe you can. Maybe someone will do it in my lifetime.
People use this word believe a lot. And I always say I don't believe in God. Why would I believe in God? Because I believe is something that exists in your head. And why would you trap God in your head?
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
believe like
I don't know what
I
there is.
think I think there's a knowing of God or of becoming one with God or you have an experience with God.
No,
You have an experience with the whole, but to believe is the last thing I want to do because I believe that believing is what separates us from God.
so that's what I know exactly what you mean by that. Kind of saying to believe in God is to have this, for an example, the Christian ideal of what God looks like, and I just have no fucking idea what God looks like, what his name is, what he does. Is it a he, a she, it? You
But you've
know?
experienced something, an unknown power that it's something that you've experienced something unknown,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
you're aware of something that you cannot label.
Yeah. When I first got into rehab, I think my first God experience. It was the first night I was crying my fucking eyes out because
This is
like
where is this? This is at rehab.
in rehab, the first night I was there, because it was the first night I was like sober actually for a period of time for like 3 years. And so I'm like fucking freaking out. Like, what did I just put my mom through? Worse than that, I fucking just lost all this time with my dad that I could have had, and he's fucking dead, and I'll never get that back. And I am a piece of shit. And I remember feeling that night that I would never get fucked up again. I would never use drugs or alcohol. And it was a different feeling than the commitment I had made to myself thousands of times.
Oh,
It was just like I just knew. I just knew I would never do it again, no matter what. And I would fucking die before I did. Um, Whether that's stupid or not, I don't know, but I believe that. And then another time I felt it was I had been trying to get into the Navy, and I had done everything I could, and I had worked harder for anything that I worked in my entire life. And I had this period, this instance of like pure acceptance where like whatever was meant to happen would happen. And if I didn't get in, I'd be okay with it because I like just did everything I fucking could. And I experienced this contentment that I had never felt before in my life. That was
yeah,
another experience.
yeah. And did you make it to the Navy?
No, they told me I wasn't good, and I was okay with it. I was okay with it.
Oh, it's so crazy to look at what a fucking savage you are now and to think that you couldn't make it to the Navy. It makes you wonder about the
Well,
fucking hiring process over there.
it wasn't because of my physical capability. I destroyed everyone in the. I was trying to get a SEAL contract as a civilian, and I took the PST for the first time with all of the other candidates who had been taking it for months, and I fucking clapped them all. Like I destroyed them in the run, killed them in the swim. The only things I didn't beat everyone in were the push-ups, pull-ups, and sit-ups, but they don't give a fuck about that. I was like middle of the pack in that stuff. If you beat everyone in the swim and the run, both, which I did, dude, they'll fucking suck your dick. That's all they care about.
And the rest of the shit you can do, like
yeah, I was middle of the pack, but when you
anyone can develop some pull-ups. I think swimming and running are much harder to develop than some.
They're
pull-ups.
harder to develop, but what they see in that is like if you're willing to black out, like I wasn't the fittest guy there, but I was willing to fucking black out on the run to not let one of those fuckers pass me. Like they were on my ass, and I was like, "Fuck that, I'm blacking. You're not passing me." So, anyways, I did that. The SO mentor is like, "Yeah, we'll give you automatically qualified for your SEAL contract. You come in, take the CSORT, which is like the special operations." The Comprehensive Special Operations Resiliency Test is what it stands for. And so I'm like in the recruiting office a week later after my PST, taking the test. I take the test. He's like, all right, I'm getting on the phone with the commander of our region for special warfare recruiting. And it was a guy who my family friend had actually put me in contact with earlier that summer. And I talked to him on the phone, and he told me at that point in time, he's like, with your drug history, dude, there's no way we'll take you.
What do you mean? What do you mean I quit when I was 16?
Dude,
I didn't get into the crazy shit.
My recruiter told me to lie about everything. Yeah, my recruiter told me to lie about everything, and I was honest. I was so stupid.
No, that would have been stupid to lie.
Yeah, for sure. But he told me to, dude. I'm not joking about that.
Yeah.
He was adamant. He's like, don't fucking say that. I'm like, dude, they'll dishonorably discharge me. Anyways.
And you don't want to carry the weight. Once again, listen, people, I'm going to tell you this secret of life too. Fuck. There's nothing wrong with stealing. There's nothing wrong with lying, except you have to then carry it around with you the rest of your life. And that is the worst thing. Fuck all the other immoral shit. First of all, there's not even such thing as stealing. Stealing is based on the false premise.
Uh-oh. You froze.
Of ownership. There's not even ownership. I like that my house is my house. I like this game we're playing. I like pretending like money has value. But don't delude yourself into thinking it's real.
You're paused or frozen.
Ownership isn't real, just like red doesn't mean stop isn't real. It's just something to read on. You don't want to have to carry the burden, is my point. Damn. So you're going to become a SEAL, and you don't, and you accept it. Hey, are you smoking at that time when you're 16 and you're in rehab?
No, they didn't allow you to have nicotine in rehab if you weren't 18. Unless your parents.
And then did you start smoking again when you got
out?
Yeah,
when I got out. Yeah, when I got out, I started dipping again.
But not smoking.
Not smoking. I was dipping. Yeah, I was dipping, and I dipped all the way through me trying to get into the Navy, which started when I was like 17 and ended when I was like 21. It was like a 4-year process of getting all of the medical waivers approved. So I spent a lot of time as like every single day obsessing about that. And you're reading every fucking book written by every single Navy SEAL that's ever fucking lived, which is a whole other thing of how I think developed a lot of the character that I have today. But
hey, dude, if you would have made it into the Navy and became a SEAL and went overseas and killed a bunch of people, imagine how fucked up you'd be. You'd have this fucked up past, a drug addict, this twisted relationship with your dad. Then you'd have fucking this more PST and baggage of like bodies blowing up. You'd be just a fucking like.
I wouldn't have lived.
You need 6 lifetimes to unpack that shit.
Dude, I know. I probably wouldn't be sober.
Right.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Oh man.
But yeah, so that I didn't make it, but I was dipping through that entire period. I found CrossFit was still dipping. Then I decided I was going to like be competitive, and I quit dip for like 2 years.
How did you find CrossFit?
My sister introduced it to me, and then I did a class with her. Didn't go back, and then when I was trying to get into the Navy, I was like,
"Wait a second, go back a second. Sorry, I got some questions." So you get out of rehab, and you're living with your mom, and you're going to AA. And do you go back to high school at that point?
Yeah, I went to a new high school.
Okay, and then do you have a job too? Like, do you work at like 7-Eleven or some shit? Or
I got a job at this fucking tree farm. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Like basically where they raise trees and then sell them to nurseries?
Christmas trees and shit. And then also they sold like mulch and fucking like in bulk. Like you would come there to get a yard of mulch from a huge front end loader. Like and they sold mulch bags too, but mostly the bulk shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of you have your life together. You're living back at home, you're working, and you're going to new high school.
My life wasn't together, but I was definitely in way better shape than I had been before I went to rehab. But I was a fucking actual high school boy at that time. So I was
and you were at least faking it till you make it. You were on the right path.
Yeah, I was still skipping class a lot. I was still getting into a lot of fights and lashing out. I was still fucking doing shit that got me in trouble in school. I mooned this fucking teacher one time.
Mooned?
Yeah, mooned him in high
cool.
school. That's like I was 18, dude. They could have given me some fucking serious charges. They didn't, luckily. Dude, if you show your asshole on school grounds as an 18-year-old, that's yeah, they can fuck you up for that.
I was always impressed when people mooned other people because, like, I never had the confidence to moon anyone. I didn't want anyone to see my butt.
Dude, you don't have to, it's not like you're flashing your dick, dude. You don't have to have confidence to show them your asshole.
I'm just twisted. I was like, like, I just don't like. They're gonna laugh at me. They're gonna be like, "You're showing us that."
Oh, this guy asked me, "The Mission, The Men and Me." Yes, I've read that book. Great book, dude. You can't name a Navy SEAL book, Bruce, that I haven't read for sure, unless it's been written in the past 3 years.
Okay,
I'm literally obsessed about it.
So, is your sister living at home at the time she introduces you to CrossFit?
No, she was home visiting. Went to this CrossFit gym. Was like, "Hey, you should come with me." I went with her.
And why did you go with her? Why didn't you say no? Fuck you. I'm staying home.
I don't know. I was on this path of like open-mindedness and enlightenment, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of interested, intrigued." Okay. And we went to Jeff Tincher's gym.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's right next to my house. So we go there. I do this workout. It's like rope climbs and deadlifts or some shit. And I like fucking sold my soul to RX it. I'd never climbed a rope before, and I like did this rope climb workout, fucked up my shoes, tore up my fucking legs. I was like, fuck this. I'm never doing this again. And then like a year later, trying to get into the Navy, I was like, I passed this Instagram ad of this other gym, and I was like, I should try this. This will help me. And it did.
And then you've been in ever since.
Yeah, and drank the Kool-Aid, brother. I started.
And then when did you say when and why did you say, oh, maybe I won't just use this for fit? I'm assuming you went there for fitness.
Yeah.
And then somehow you came across, oh, I could compete.
Well, the Navy had just told me no. I was fucking obsessed with CrossFit by that time. I just find something I like and I obsess over it so hard. And so I kind of just got good at it. And was like, fuck it. I love working out all the time. So I'll just be more serious about it. And that kind of enter my journey of discipline and actually taking it seriously and trying to become a professional and treating myself as a professional. But that kind of, there was a brief period of lapse in judgment where it was 2019. And this was when I was, doing qualifiers and stuff. And they had just done the sanctional model where like if you want a sanctional you get a ticket to the games, and so I qualified online for the MAC. It was a sanctional that year. I was like 6th in the qualifier. I thought I was fucking savage. I was like right next to Jacob Hepner and in the qualifier and Sam Quant and all those guys. And 3 days before the actual competition, I was riding a skateboard just trying to like get my mind off things and fucking blew my knee out and then had surgery.
What year was that?
2019.
Oh, fuck. Have you ridden a skateboard since then?
Yeah.
You do? You still ride? You still fuck around?
No, not frequently, but I've been on a skateboard for sure a few times. But
how do you blow your knee out on a skateboard?
I was bombing this hill on just a regular deck, and I had never been down it before. And this kid I was with was like, dude, don't do that. It's sketchy. And he kind of yelled it from behind me. I was like, fuck that. Like, I'm good at skateboarding. I grew up skateboarding. And I fucking get halfway down this hill. I'm going like 30, no helmet. I get the speed wobble. So I'm like, fuck. So I ditch the board and just fucking.
And somehow your knee didn't like it.
Yeah, somehow.
Oh, God, dude. And were you just fucking devastated? Did you start drinking again?
I was on the ground. Listen to this. For some reason, I go through shit like that, and it has the opposite effect. It makes me more of a stubborn piece of shit. So I was on the ground face down thinking, right when it happened, right when I got the speed wobbles, I knew I wasn't going to compete that weekend. I knew I had just fucked myself. So I was laying on the ground, face down, head in my arms. I'm like, you stupid piece of shit. You just worked so hard for this opportunity, squandered it. I fucking get up. I'm walking back home. Yes, walking. Shit was fucked up. Get in the car, call my mom. I'm crying. Drive to the hospital. My mom and my best friend Jake meet me there, and like the doctor who's on call in the ER is like, don't take my word for it, but I really don't think anything's torn. And I'm thinking to myself, bitch, are you fucking high? What I felt, dude, it's all torn. And it was all fucked up. But I guess because of the swelling and me walking home on it, it had like stiffened up to where it felt like the ligaments were there or whatever. And so I was just fucking in that. I had read like David Goggins' book like a few months prior, and it was just like the perfect opportunity to practice kind of the shit that he talks about in his book. So I went through knee surgery with no painkillers. Really stupid idea. But
that's the kind of, my sister's like 20 years sober, maybe more now. That's the kind of crazy shit she would do.
But I didn't do it because I was sober, is the funny thing.
Oh.
I did it because in his book, he talks about like experiencing pain and like how you experience something extremely hard and you put it in your cookie jar. If I can do that, I can do this. And so I was like, fuck it. I don't need that shit. It was so miserable. First night I'm out of the hospital, I'm like on the couch in my mom's house. I had moved out, but I was back home because I had surgery. I'm like crying my eyes out, like, Mom. She's like, what? I'm like, it hurts.
I had this friend, and him and his wife were going to the dentist, and I can't remember what procedure they were going to have, but they were both going to have it. It was like having a tooth removed or a root canal, something fucked up, right? And they both decide that they're going to do it without any pain medication. And he gets in there, and he's like in there for like 5 minutes. He's like, fuck that. Give me the pain medication. And he gets out, and his wife goes, oh my God, that was the worst thing in my life. How did you do it? And he goes, I didn't. I took the pain medication. She's like, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, I bet she was pissed.
Yeah, she did it. Dude, can you imagine giving birth?
No. Nope. Can't imagine it.
Hey, if I knew, I don't even know how women, I really don't know how women let dudes get them pregnant knowing that they have to have a baby.
It's crazy.
That's how much they like dick. That's how crazy girls are about dick.
No, it's not.
I'm telling you. It's all backwards. They always blame that shit on dudes. Girls are just fucking, I mean,
yes,
there's nothing I would do.
I've read Fearless too, Adam Brown's book. That's what made me think I could get into the Navy as a recovering drug addict, was that specific book. And I called I didn't call, but I like found the email for his wife somehow and emailed her. I was like, can you please fucking help me? I'm just like this guy. Never responded. I'm not fucking like that guy. She probably gets a billion emails a day, but yes, I read that book too.
How did that guy in? You think he lied about? It was some guy who became a SEAL, who's a former drug addict?
No, I don't think he lied at all. It was just a different time. When I was trying to get in, CBS had came out with this article about like 10 SEALs getting kicked out of the East Coast teams for doing drugs and shit. And they were on this, they're like, not gonna fuck with anybody. You get 1,000 kids a day that want to join your fucking unit or the teams. Why would you take a risk on one kid? You can teach any kid physical fitness. But fuck, I have a record of, a horrible fucking track record. Why would they risk it over 999 other kids that have a clean record?
I have this friend who's a cop, and he's a former heroin addict, and he's like the best cop you could ever imagine. He's like the nicest, most fair, generous, patient, fittest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder who this is. Wait, hold on. Let's answer. Oh, darn it.
Bruce Wayne, Tom Shea's book, Unbreakable. And you spell Tom, THOMSHEA, Tom Shea. I spoke to him on the phone after I read his book. He's a really good guy, but that's a really, really good book.
You spoke to the author?
Yeah, I called like all those authors of SEALs when I was trying to get in. I like would find their number. I'd be like, dude, any advice? Like, can you help me? I talked to a lot of them. I wrote this one guy I talked to.
Did you ever call TDC?
The Dave Castro? No, I didn't even know who he was back then.
Oh.
I talked to Paul Tharp, who was the commander of Buds at the time, like a triathlete, Ironman.
Wow.
I talked to this guy. I forget his name, but he wrote this book. It's like How to Not Get Fucked Over by Your Recruiter is the name of the book. And he runs this locksmithing business in like Oklahoma, and that's how I found his phone number. I looked up his locksmithing business and called it.
How to Not Get Fucked Over by a Recruiter.
Yeah, because recruiters don't give a fuck about you.
So now what's the plan? What's the plan moving? So you're still paying it forward. You have AA meetings at your house. Um, you're still you seem like you're further away from relapsing than ever.
I
Like
haven't, to be fair, I haven't had a meeting here in a while. It's been a while.
okay, so you're not paying it forward. You're douche, selfish douche again. How often are you going to meetings now?
Not as often as I should be, and not as often as I used to. I think a lot of it
Should be. You seem great. Why if you're doing good, why do
well,
you need?
that's kind of the conundrum, is a lot of people will start doing really, really well and forget how bad it was, and then boom, they're fucking done.
Right.
I still talk to my circle of people that I spend the most time with and speak the most to are all in recovery, and so I depend a lot on them. It's just hard to fucking. I could Zoom, but it's, man, I don't have the time to go to in-person AA meetings. I fucking coach 3 classes a night to pay rent, and I train all day. There's literally, I don't have 2 hours of my day to cut out to go to drive there, drive home, spend an hour there.
There's this conventional wisdom, if you don't practice stillness meditation, which means to not react, to be the observer, when times are good, you won't have that tool when times are bad. Meaning, like, don't wait till you fucking like
Yeah.
you can't wait till someone cuts you off or your boyfriend breaks up with you to
No.
meditate. You got to meditate when it's
Every
like
day.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
like when you get when things are great, you have to cultivate stillness and non-reaction.
Yeah. I do
I try
pray
to
and meditate every day, which I think is, I practice. I mean, there are the 12 steps in A, and I do practice. The 12th step is practicing the principles in all your affairs, and the 10th step is taking personal inventory every day, and when you're wrong, promptly admit it. So there's a lot of shit that I still practice a lot of, and it's just a season of life, I think, where I don't have a ton of time to dedicate to AA meetings specifically. That doesn't mean I don't call my best friend who's sober and tell him how much of a dumb fuck I am when I need help.
Hey, did you do that thing where you go back in your life and like you say sorry to people?
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Well, I tried to do it like 2 times and got fucking scared and just like quit halfway through.
What step is that?
The ninth step. Eighth step is making the list of persons you would harm, become willing to make amends to them all. And ninth step is made amends to such people wherever possible, except
Like you would go back to that teacher and apologize for mooning them?
Yeah. That's actually funny because I never fucking made amends to that guy. I couldn't find him. I can't even remember his name. It's crazy. He was not even, yeah. But anyways.
And once again, I share this with you. The guy who got mooned will never forget that day.
Dude.
You gave him something as a gift.
It wasn't a gift.
It is a gift. It is a gift.
My asshole and probably ball sack too.
Yes,
I pulled my pants on my ankles.
Yes, you gave him a gift. I use this story over and over and over, but I was in a taxi cab. It was 4 a.m. I was headed to the airport. It was in Kansas City. I was had been at a film festival, and it was storming, lightning, thunder, rain. It was fucking nuts. And I had to get in this taxi cab from my hotel to go to the airport to fly back to California. And the taxi pulls up, and it's a fucking minivan. And it's a yellow minivan, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. Now it's a pretty common sight. These people are so obese that they have to have this. Not only do they have the seat scooted all the way back, but they have the seat all the way reclined, and yet they're still sitting upright. It's like a 500-pound guy. And we're driving to the airport, and it's fucking. You can't even. It's raining so hard you can't even see out the windows. I mean, it's pouring, and we're on the freeway, and lightning and thunder and all that shit. And I'm in there with my with the producer of the movie, and we're driving, and he goes, hey, I have to go to the bathroom. I have to pull over and go to the bathroom. Yeah, pull over, go to the bathroom. I'm like, this is kind of weird. And he pulls over, and we're on the side of the freeway. It's fucking scary as hell. It's not a safe place to pull over. And the dude, I think he's going to get out of the car and pee. And then I realized this fucking dude can't get out of the car. Like that's like a max effort deadlift every day, back squat, mile sprint for him to get in and out of the car.
Yeah.
He fucking goes, ma'am, you may want to turn your head. And he reaches over and gets a fucking Gatorade bottle or Coke bottle from the side of him, and he pees in the car with us sitting behind him. That's how he hit the, and at the time, I'm like, this fucking piece of shit. But now in hindsight, I'm like, wow, I owe that guy a thank you, because I'll never forget that taxi ride.
Wow. Yeah, that's disgusting. I wouldn't forget that. Fuck.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like you showed that guy his asshole, and he's like, he's got a story in the bank. Just now, I probably made $5. It made this podcast a couple minutes longer. Made $5 off of it when total views are, calculated. And like I owe that guy. I should find that guy and give that guy 3% of $5.
Yeah.
See how the world works? It's a good place.
It is a good place.
Do you think you eventually make it to the CrossFit Games?
Yeah, I feel like I know I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year.
Do you have to just tell yourself that? Like, is that like, oh, I'll believe it until I get there, or is it like you really like feel something?
I really feel something, but going back to that, do you think that's a silly philosophical take on life? I mean, do you not believe in the law that what you think and what you believe in kind of, or what you focus daily on comes to pass?
No, I believe it. But
But I know, I get what you're saying. I mean, it's easy to just, because it's not as simple as that. You have to take action. But that's the thing. I take a lot of action.
Yes, you have to take action. And there's
and I know I'm more than good enough, and I haven't yet put together a complete performance. And I feel like when I do, it'll be something really special. So
how did you meet Jason?
We did a competition together, and he beat me.
Yeah. And that's how you guys met?
Yeah, we started training together at my buddy's gym, Crash Fitness in Spartanburg, which is like kind of between both of us.
Is there any party that's like, you got Matt on your side and I just fucking whooped your ass at Wodapalooza? Fuck you.
No.
No.
I'm taking a different approach, a more mature one. I think it's part of me growing up towards working out with Jason, and we're going to be doing a lot more of it because I think that we have a unique opportunity to help each other. He's bad at the things I'm really good at, and I'm good at the things he's, vice versa. So we just have a really cool opportunity to be professionals.
Is any part of you like, I know Colton Mertens is Sevon's favorite, and I beat him. Fuck those two.
No, I actually talked to dude. I could fucking get Colton to say more than 2 words this time at Wodapalooza. I didn't actually try to talk to him ever before, but we talked a bit. He's a good guy. Yeah, I like him a lot. He's
wonderful.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Fucking wonderful. It's this is going to be a horrible metaphor, but to not, if you see a guy who's going to take a Volkswagen Bug and put a Ferrari engine in it and put it on the steepest hill in the world and then throw a brick on the gas pedal, to not take a fucking moment out of your life and watch that, you're fucking missing out. And I feel like that's what Colton Mertens is. Not that he's a Volkswagen with a Ferrari engine. I just mean it's that peculiar, this combination of fucking traits that we're looking at. Yeah. His physical stature, his day job, his upbringing, his fucking hyper intelligence. I mean, it's this.
There's a lot of depth to, I'm sure, a lot of these athletes that nobody really gets to see that you uncover, which I think is a really cool part of what you do. And you say that you do that, and that's the opportunity of just being honest. And it's the thing that like Morning Chalk Up and other places. I mean, they're great. They're great at what they do, but nobody really gets to tell our stories. Which is what fucking, you think, I guess that's what sponsors are attracted to you by, or by how many fucking followers you have on Instagram.
I know it's a weird, it's a weird thing. I think about it more and more, the juxtaposition. Like someone said to me, they go, yeah, what I'm doing is really weird. And what the athletes are giving me the ability to do is really fucking weird in this environment. I don't mean to just suck my own dick, but I can't help it. It's so unique to this sport. It's I'm so fucking weird, and I allow the athletes to be so fucking weird and come free.
Yeah.
And I just love people so much, but yet I'm just. Do you remember that cartoon character, Tasmanian Devil?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like that.
Yeah, you're all over the place sometimes.
But I like it.
In a
like,
good
you know
way.
what I mean?
Yeah,
like I'm thriving. Like they're like, "What the fuck? He's got ADD," and I'm like, "No, motherfucker, I'm a tornado."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you always bring it back around in some way to relate to what we're discussing. It's cool. It's natural. This guy Bruce, I'm definitely rooting for Taylor to beat Hopper. I beat him. Just kidding, Bruce. About the middle
how
finger, not about beating him.
so I had this friend. I had this friend in college, and he was getting ready to go he's getting ready to go to Germany, and there was this girl he really liked, and he was an exchange student. He lived in Germany, and he'd been at college with me for a couple of years, and then he was moving back, and he only had 2 weeks left. And there's this girl he really really fucking liked, and he said, I'm like, hey, dude, why aren't you going to her house every night? Like, what are you doing? Like, get with her. And he's like, dude, I don't want to like fucking fall in love with her and then fucking leave and be hurt. I'm like, dude, what if we all die tomorrow? Fuck that. Go get hurt.
Yeah.
Go fucking break some fucking hearts. Get your heart broken. Just throw your heart in front of a train. Quit being a bitch.
Yeah, live life.
And there's a part of that about being what you're doing.
Dude, there's a huge part.
Like you're really, yeah, you're setting yourself up for failure. I mean, like everyone is who tries to become a professional athlete. I mean, it's really
the risk that each athlete takes on themselves is fucking immense. And anyone who's actually
nuts.
Anyone who's actually pursuing it to a large degree, which I believe a lot of the guys on the bubble and the people at the games are just in their breakthrough year for sure. No one else has really taken a lot of risk in you. None. I mean, especially
99% of you are going to have your heart broken. You're all chasing the same fucking girl, and she's so fucking loyal, she won't even look at you guys.
More than 99%.
Going with one, and then there's some asshole like Matt Frazier who will take her 5 years in a row to the prom. Not let any motherfuckers talk to
her. Yeah, you're right. But there's this other thing, and this kind of universal law of abundance, where if you choose to view the world as scarce and having only scarce resources, then your reality becomes one of scarcity. But if you choose to view the world as abundant, then abundance becomes your reality. And so that's kind of the other approach I feel like I'm really doing my best to take with Jason, is that there's enough for both of us and we can help each other have that. I mean, he's already made it to the
It really
game.
is true that rising tides float all ships. The other people in the media space, CrossFit's a perfect example, they don't fucking get it. Mm-hmm. They don't they don't fight, but you're so right.
Yeah.
He will only get better if you get better. There's nothing to and it's okay to fuck with them. Like when you hear Matt and Justin Medeiros' relationship, it's okay to like if they can't play the game and fuck with you back, then whatever, that's on them.
Yeah, well, me and Jason are really close. We're closer to probably than we let on, but so we can take it from each other. But yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good friend.
The heartbreaking piece is most of the people will never get to dance with the girl, and then when they do finally, if they did win the games and they did dance with the girl, it's not going to be as good as you ever imagined. Mm-hmm. And so you're pursuing kind of a ghost.
Well, but
yet you have to do it. There's no point to life if you don't do it. You have to do it.
You're right, but I think at the other time is if you're pursuing it with the idea in mind that once you get there, you will have made it, and that's the pinnacle. Then yeah, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Yeah. But if you just understand and accept the fact that in pursuing that is kind of what your life is about, the journey, not the destination, as cliche as that is, but that's the truth.
Yeah, it really is. What this is just rude.
Taylor looks like Ed Sheeran's daddy.
Who, you or me? Who's Ed Sheeran?
The
blonde dude?
The fucking ginger pop singer.
Oh yeah. Hey, I thought that guy was just a total dork, and then I watched some video of him and like he has his shirt off and he's boxing. I'm like, whoa, he's a stud.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Brandon Von Drack. Are these people's real names?
It's Davy Craig. I don't know. I feel like you can just make your fucking YouTube handle whatever you want. So
Colton is a savage. He won the Wadapalooza 10 event, and then I saw him right after and just put his headphones in and walked off silently by himself into the night. No entourage, no distractions, stone-faced. Okay, I have to poop now. I had to pee once, and now I have a double.
That morning shit hitting you.
Hey, do you know why I scheduled you this week?
Why?
Because I told Matt Souza, the producer, I was like, dude, can you please give me just fucking easy people this week? I'm gonna be in Tahoe. I want people like, because usually I freak out a couple hours before I go to bed the night before a podcast. And I like it. I like freaking out, but I wanted to try to like spend more time with my kids. Like, can you give me someone who's just fucking easy, who I like, who I can just fucking talk with and not trip? Because I'm always like, there's this element of having to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
And then he put you on there. I was like, oh, thank you. That dude's so cool. We'll have an easy time.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Susan knew. All right. Well, so what's next? Semifinals, and then so now you're just, it's all
Training. Yeah.
just now it's just the road to the games.
Yes, sir.
The open and then move forward.
Quarterfinals, semis,
Okay.
games. Yep.
Let's do I do this thing with like, after I do like these kind of like deep, extensive podcasts with people, like with fighters or athletes, I want to start like then going back and just doing like shorter half-hour shows. So
Yeah.
like as you do the open, every time after you do a workout, maybe just do like a 20-minute show and be like, how was that workout?
Yeah,
Did your
dude.
sister watch you? How many times did you think about nicotine? Like, do you have sex on the days you do the open? Just like, you know what I mean? Just a 20-minute and then just move on. Just have you on for revisits. Hey, listen to me. Stop reading. Listen.
No, because I'm already on board with the idea. I'll for sure come on for shorter shows. Look, my best friend goes, tell Savannah about how you went bald at 16. That's the Jake I was talking about, my best friend. That fucking asshole. Dude, he's the reason I'm not insecure about it, to be honest, because he just fucking rails me. You're fat, Jake. Shut up.
Hey, how could anyone? Hey, and I want to say something to you about you fat people who make fun of other people, because fat kids used to make fun of me for my nose being big. I used to think, but I was fat too. I would be like, I can't do anything about my nose, but you could do something about being fat.
Yeah, I can't do shit about being bald.
But I never did anything about being fat either. But why is being bald? I have to go to the bathroom so bad, but let's touch on this real quick. Why is being bald such an insecurity? It's so like my best friend Jeff Holman from the 2nd or 3rd grade is bald, and like he's so handsome. My friend Tyson Oldroyd I used to work with, he's bald. He's so handsome. Why would anyone? I don't get what the I don't think like bald dudes get like less jobs, less pussy. I don't think they sleep worse at night. Like the only thing I could think about being bald that's bad is this: if you got to wear a hat to protect yourself from the sun.
I wear a hat all the time, but it's not that bad. I just think it's another reason to be self-obsessed about why you're not good enough. It's just another reason to be insecure about something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a really weird one because it's I mean, your head, you have a very nice head.
I got this like dorsal fin. That's why I swim fast. See that?
Yeah, it's a very nice head. Yeah. I wonder if I have that thing.
No, man, you're not.
Oh, and this is another reason why I wouldn't want to be bald. You do have to it doesn't look good like with like little patches growing out of it.
Oh, it looks fucking terrible. Or the guys who try to hold on to it on the side, just fucking, dude.
And so that seems like a lot of work.
Yeah,
like shaving it.
Just no. I mean, not really. I mean, girls shave their fucking legs pretty frequently.
Yeah, fuck that. That's a lot of work too. Do you use an electric shaver for your dome or?
No, 3-blade.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of work.
No, it's good.
Oh, when he jumps in the pool head first, there is a 0 splash.
Jake is the funniest person I've ever met. I keep telling him to start like a comedy podcast. He's the funniest person in existence.
Anyone can be funny. Being funny on demand is hard.
That's
the
true.
challenge, Jake.
Probably.
This is where the whole reason I have a podcast, so I can pretend to be funny. Okay, talk to you soon.